YouTube. We can do only one live, I think so. Yeah, we can do only YouTube live.
We'll begin in another 3 minutes.
Perfect. Rakesh is here. Sajid. Both. Stop live streaming. You have to stop before starting the meeting. May I request everyone please switch off the microphone, please?
Use mode.
Shall we begin?
Yes, please. Raga sir is here. CG sir.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, CG sir is here, so we can begin now.
That's great. Yeah. So good morning and good afternoon to all the participants and speakers joining us today from Germany and from India. Thank you for joining us. My name is Pallavi and I'll be your moderator for the day. On behalf of organizers and partners, it is my pleasure to welcome you all today to the second and virtual edition of German Indian Business Summit, in short, GIBS. The theme of this year's summit is digitalization and future of Indo-German economic relationship. We have an impressive lineup of speakers who will discuss a range of topics related to this theme. If you want to ask any question, please use the chat option given in this platform. So now without taking much time, let us begin with the opening session. It is my pleasure to invite our first speaker of the day, Shri Madan Lal Raigarji, Honorable Consul General, Consulate General of India, Hamburg. Shri Raigarji assumed charge as the Consul General of India in Hamburg in August 2016. A career diplomat, he has served in different capacities at the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi. Shri Raigarji has also served in various parts of the world, including Sudan, Canada, Sri Lanka, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Madagascar, before joining us in Europe. Shri Raigarji, please.
Sir, you are mute, sir.
Thank you, Palvi, for introduction. Mr. Christian Goodsmith, Head of Unit of 4 International Affairs and Controlling at the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Labor and Europe of the Free Hanseatic City of Bremen. Ms. Lily Ong, Project Director, International Investment at Hamburg Invest. Mr. Rakesh Violi, Secretary General, India Business Forum. Mr. Bernard Steinrucke, Director General, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, Mumbai. Dr. Rajesh Mishra from JINCO, Dr. Shajia Wilbers from Hochschule Bremen, Ms. Pallavi Mishra, the moderator today, and also the country head Germany for FICCI. Distinguished keynote speakers and panelists, and the participating audience. Very good morning to all of you. I welcome you all today at yet another virtual business promotion event, the German-India Business Summit 2020, being organized by the Consulate General of India in Hamburg in collaboration with JINCO, the Hochschule Bremen, and the FICCI. The theme of today's event is digitalization and future of Indo-German economic relationship. In today's digital world, we cannot think of a situation when there is no digital technology available for us even for an hour. And India has its core strength in this field, as you all know. Though we have a number of learned and distinguished speakers and panelists lined up to share their knowledge and experience, however, I would like to add a few words here. What is digitalization? Digitalization is a transformation. Digitalization means the use of digital technology and data in order to create revenue, improve business, replace, transform business processes, not simply digitizing them and create an environment for digital business whereby digital information is at the core, and to help the public at large with IT technology. What could be the possible benefits of digitization? Digital solution can simplify a country's security and intelligence systems and its economy and infrastructure and public service too. For citizens, digitalization promises yes, much needed improvement both in the delivery of public services such as government, bank, issued certificates and other services, financial or other consultancy services. You all know that 20 years back or before, how it was difficult to even book a railway ticket or get money from bank. Doing business, doing banking at home was not even a dream, or we can't even think of it. And today, all those such technology have been there at our fingertips. This is because of digitization. Digital solutions and services can facilitate trades and settlement worldwide, defend against malpractices such as embezzlement and money laundering, because data are available worldwide, which can be shared between the governments. Digital platforms are connecting buyer and sellers directly, eliminating the middleman. Knowing the benefits of digitalization, now I would like to touch upon the theme of today's webinar. There are immense scope and opportunities for Indo-German collaboration through digitization. We can use India's know-how and also the business acumen of Germany in this field. The focus currently is on digitalization, which is being pushed by Germany as well as India through several initiatives. Especially the use of new technologies provide the chance for the economy of both our countries, not only to develop new business areas, but also new customers. We believe that the growth and development agenda for the next few decades should not only focus on economic progress to cater to rising aspirations of young Indians, but also in achieving that in a sustainable manner. To this end, the technological and managerial capabilities of public and private sector under the comprehensive framework of Digital India can be leveraged to take India into digital age. And Digital India is a flagship program of India, as you all know. Few examples like digital wallets, payment banks, UPI, moving to cashless economy, increased innovation and acceptance of digital payments is resulting in greater digital banking activities. Digital India program has transformed India into a digitally empowered society and has given rise to new platform to startup companies flourishing in the digital industry of India. According to a report on the digital industry of Berlin, coming back to Germany, more than 60,000 people work in the digital industry in Berlin only. Since 2008, every 8th new job in Berlin was created at a company in the digital economy. Digitalization or digital is the buzzword in both countries, and with the support of government, a potential exchange of ideas, events, cross-border relations could establish a symbolic relationship between Germany and India. And why symbolic? We can go beyond it and with much collaboration on it. Germany and India have been attracting and encouraging young startups to scale up themselves with these digitalization ideas. Joining hands with each other could fill the gaps in both economy. Time is just right. The digitalization has impacted the Indian economy in many ways, and not only Indian economy, but the economy of the world. Digitalization has played a vital role in flourishing the Indian economy. The biggest example is the job opportunities created in the country for youth. In addition to above, Make in India drive has given an immense push to investors to start new startups and think of creative ideas to contribute to digitalization of India. The government at its end is also pushing and encouraging Indian public to go cashless and reduce reliance on cash transactions. The purpose is to make us adopt digital payments and, and bring transparency also. Digital transactions make us follow a legal path which is helpful to flourish the economy. As you all know that there's an informal economy in India which is almost 80+%. Use of plastic money gives freedom as well as security to citizens of the country because it works on technical grounds. Digital payments will be helpful to the global world. Using the digital technology and the IT is the future for any country. We are fortunate that it is India's strength too. This has been proved beyond doubt by the youth of India working in IT industry all around the world. Germany is known for making good machines. However, in the new era, these big or small manufacturers cannot progress and compete further without using the digitalization and IT. And here comes the opportunities for collaboration and cooperation between India and Germany. We look forward to today more on this through our experts, keynote speakers and panelists during this morning, and we look forward for a great session ahead. Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to you, Pallavi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for underlining some of the most important ways digitalization is affecting our day-to-day lives and the many potentials that it contains. So this brings me to our next speaker, Dr. Shazia Wulbers. Dr. Wulbers is a political scientist and has been researching and teaching international relations in France and Germany since 1999. Her focus lies in EU-India relations, European studies, South Asian politics, and sustainable development. She is currently teaching and researching at the International Program for Policy Management at the Hochschule Bremen, City University of Applied Sciences. Dr. Wulbers, please.
Thank you very much, Pallavi. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. You will be hearing a lot about digitalization and Indo-German relations and all of that in the next hours. And so I just want to take this opportunity to talk to you about this German-Indian Business Summit that we started last year. And this is, as you know, only the second such event, but of course it's the very beginning of what is a very promising future that we have. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Consul General and Mr. Gulshan Singh and Ms. Parminder Singh for all their support and help. And on behalf of Rajesh Mishra and me, I would like to thank all the people that have cooperated in making this event a reality. I mean, without you, all of this will not be possible. So just to tell you briefly about this German-Indian Business Summit and how it all started. So of course, it's the brainchild of Dr. Rajesh Mishra, who came up with the idea that we must have such an event to sort of bring the Indo-German business community together, and especially in Bremen, where such small efforts had been made, but they hadn't been very successful. So we spoke about it last year, and then we approached the Consul General. We used the Hochschule venue and the India Study Center, and then we launched it. And like I said, it was just the beginning. And so this is the next year. we are already many steps ahead, not just one step, I would say. And we now have a website which will be launched by Raigar Saab in 2 hours, I think, towards the end of the event. I just wanted to tell you briefly what we want to do. So what we want to do through this German-Indian Business Summit is to sort of bring together, to support, to coordinate, to recognize, to facilitate the Indo-German linkages. And of course, the businesses involved in it are the people that are involved in it and that are sort of living in this Indo-German sphere. And this Indo-German sphere is very special because it includes companies, German companies that are working in India or working with Indian partners, or Indian companies working with German partners. And we really look forward to it. And here again, I would just add one thing. It's that India has been booming for many years. And I've been living in Germany for the past 12 years, but I never saw the kind of momentum that we have right now in this Indo-German business sphere. And my explanation about that is that, yes, India was booming, but we didn't have the Consul General with us a long time ago, and we didn't have Rajesh Mishra with us a long time ago. We didn't have all these wonderful cooperation partners a long time ago. And so things have been gaining momentum with all the cooperation partners that we've been able to acquire over the past 2 years. And we really hope that we have a successful event today, and that there are many more to come. The German Business Summit plans to have representatives all over Germany. So we have already some representatives. We have Dr. Rakesh Violi, who is in Hamburg. We have Dr. Faizan, who is in Kiel. We have Mr. Tambe in Munich. So we already have a representative in some sub-cities, and we plan to expand more. But you will learn more about it when you see the website and sort of the mission statement later. Yeah, thank you very much for all of you for being here and for participating in this wonderful event. I give back the word to Pallavi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Razia, for sharing the background of German-Indian Business Summit with us. It's very fascinating. And I really feel lucky to be here in Germany at this time when things are gaining momentum. So thank you once again. Now I would like to invite our next speaker of the day, Mr. Christian Gutschmidt. Mr. Gutschmidt is the head of Unit for International Affairs and Controlling at the City of Economic Affairs, Labor and Europe of the Free Hanseatic City of Bremen. The task that he heads is to foster international business relations and to internationalize Bremen's economy by attracting investment from abroad and supporting Bremen-based companies on their way into international markets. Mr. Gutschmidt, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Mishra. Dear Consul General, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to address you among this list of distinguished speakers and welcome you here in this opening session to this year's German-Indian Business Summit. Hello to everybody joining us today, or as we in Bremen simply say at any point during the day, moin. It is terrific that in these challenging times, with rising corona numbers all over the world, I am able to welcome you to the second edition of this event. Thank you very much to the Consul General as well as all others involved in making this happen. Just 1.5 years ago, we met for the first German-Indian Business Summit at the University of Applied Science here in Bremen, but it feels like ages ago. The COVID-19 pandemic changed our everyday life during the last month, disrupted plans we had for this year, and forced us into virtual space. But nevertheless, it is important to keep in touch, to maintain our networks, and to look for chances and opportunities even in these challenging times. So I am really glad that this online event takes place today. Just to introduce myself, my name is Christian Gutschmidt and I work here at the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Labor and Europe in the federal state of Bremen. Bremen and Bremerhaven have always been an international trading hub with their port and logistics facilities for many centuries. Today, Bremen is much more than that, than a trading hub, because we have important industries like automotive, with one of the biggest Mercedes-Benz factories in the world, aviation and aerospace with big players like Airbus, Ariane Group and OHB, wind energy industry, or key enabling technologies like material science, and the main topics of today, artificial intelligence or IT. All these branches shape our economic structure and make Bremen an important and innovative industrial location in Germany. Supplemented by a large number of high-ranking research institutions and universities or universities of applied science, Bremen is a great place to start a business or to explore the opportunities of the German and also the European markets, also for companies from India. Bremen's success is based on international cooperation that we would like to foster in person, but now, like today, digitally as well. Ladies and gentlemen, from what I have read in preparation for this event, India has been hit hard by COVID-19, and despite of growing numbers of infections and deaths, the economy is opening up again at the moment. That, as well as the discussions we have here in Germany about proper actions to fight the pandemic, are only two examples that show a high level of uncertainty and the worldwide search for the right way to counteract the challenge we are all confronted with. In my personal opinion, international cooperation is crucial for our success to fight the pandemic, as well as for a successful recovery of our economies. Germany, as an export nation, and Bremen as one of Germany's most traditional trading hubs, are relying on functioning global value chains and the openness of our international partners. What we hear from our companies is that the functioning of global value chains is crucial for the recovery of our economy, and that does not only mean the trade of goods, but also the trade of services, and very important, the possibility to travel. Therefore, it is important, and it's a very important step, that at least a limited number of flights between India and Germany is possible again. To draw a bigger picture regarding the economic relations between India and Germany, in my opinion, this time could fit well to restart the negotiations about a comprehensive and ambitious free trade agreement between the EU and India. As it was mentioned in the invitation for today's event, one of the most important outcomes of the last EU-India summit was the setup of a high-level dialogue on trade and investment relations, which will discuss all trade and market issues as well as supply chain linkages. A very good step in the right direction, in my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, the first trading ships from Bremen reached Indian shores in the late 18th century. So I am sure that this long-lasting tradition of economic connections between Bremen and India will also survive the disruption by COVID-19. Every crisis also bears chances and opportunities. We just have to find and utilize them for the best of our two countries and economies. One such example could be an exchange of experiences on how companies are using digitalization to prepare for the future, and more specifically, develop strategies on how to take the Indo-German economic relations to the next level through digitalization. In Bremen, we are in the process of inventing a digital hub industry where we concentrate digital services for the industry. And also discussions are going on at the moment to establish a new university for artificial intelligence. So you see, we already have a lot of partners that could fit in the big picture of this event today. So this event is a great step in the right direction, and I'm really looking forward to the upcoming speeches and discussions. I wish us all a wonderful time here, and please stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Goodschmidt, for your time and for sharing what the city of Bremen has to offer. And it's also interesting to note all the initiatives that the city has, especially with regard to digitalization. Thank you once again. Now I would like to invite our next speaker of the day, Ms. Lily Ong. Lily is the project director of the International Investments, Hamburg Invest, an official investment board of the city of Hamburg in Germany. She takes care of the acquisitions and investments projects from South Asia and Southeast Asia into Hamburg. She was born in Malaysia, and she holds a Bachelor's of Arts honors and a Master's of Arts from the University of Wolverhampton, UK. She lived and worked in Singapore prior to moving to Hamburg in 2012. Lily, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Pallavi, for these perfect introductions. So as you can see, I'm from Hamburg. Hamburg is the second largest city of Germany after the capital, Berlin, home of Nivea, Montblanc, and production site of Airbus, third largest seaport of Europe. And I'm working with the Hamburg Invest, and we are tasked to help international companies and startups to set up their base in our beautiful city by providing all sorts of services free of charge, like company formations, visa inquiries, site selections, and providing local business information. And we have heard from all the wonderful speeches today regarding how India and Germany work closely together. Many German companies, especially those from automobile manufacturers like Audi, Mercedes, BMW, and all others like Siemens, DHL, Bosch, SAP Labs, all have a base in India. Some use India as an R&D center, and some use it as a manufacturing hub to supply their products to other markets in the region. And in the previous year, we also see the increasement of Indian companies coming into Germany. Our federal government agency, Germany Trade and Invest, the GTAI, have been working closely with India for many, many years to attract more Indian companies investing in Germany. Some are prominent, are well-integrated Indian companies, like Bharat Forge, Dr. Reddy's Lab, IT sectors like Tata Consultancy Services, Wipro, Infosys, you name it. So why are the Indian companies looking into Germany? Digitalization is in full swing. So when we look at the technology sector in Germany, it offers the best market potentials and preconditions for a digitalized economy with its very strong industrial structures. We have around 50 Indian companies set up their base in Hamburg. So those are from acquisitions of Lakshmi Mittal, of the Hamburg Steels, along with all other leading companies like Tata Consultancy Services, Gujarat Fluorochemicals GmbH as part of the Inox Group, L&T Technology Services, and startups like Nivi, Foviatech, Solomais all have a base in Hamburg. At the same time, Hamburg has a representative office in Mumbai at the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. So I think it's not just only Hamburg. Various cities in Germany have also placing their highest emphasis and strong strategies by having offices, projects, and large-scale conference and events in India. How can we take the collaborations to the next level? Indian blooming economy and flourishing startups ecosystem is gaining all those global attentions. So it has a very vibrant startup ecosystem and a rich VC landscape. So startups in these two countries could actually benefit from co-innovations, and exchange-oriented portal can also serve as a valuable platform for startups looking into launching operations into each other's countries. As you can see, like GINSEP, Next Step Asia, Air Berlin, Asia Berlin Summit all have done amazing jobs in bringing Indo-German startup collaborations together. And we're going to hear from Juliana from Telera. She's from the Next Step Asia, regarding all her exciting projects later. And I think we should also welcome more EU projects, like in the 2018, the IUC program, the International Urban Cooperation. India is one of the target countries that involved in the program, along with China, Japan, Canada, Mexico, USA, etc. So two German cities were paired with India, Karlsruhe and Nagpur, and Hamburg and Vijayawada. So Karlsruhe and Nagpur, they were looking into developing the potentials of Nagpur's transport plan by implementing cycling into it. I'm not so sure how the implementations are going on, but I personally think that it could be a challenging task. Hamburg and Vijaya have a focus on development of data collections, analysis, and designing tools in the area of city planning of Vijayawada, like traffic lights, waterways, and it has been going on pretty well. The fast track procedure for a skilled worker to work in Germany is also a great instrument to flourish both Indo-German collaboration. So there are already quite a few bilateral innovation partnerships going on, and I look forward to welcome all of you to Germany. And of course, if you will come to Hamburg, and I will welcome you with all my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lily. Your energy when it comes to talking about the city of Hamburg and India and Germany is truly infectious. Thank you once again. I would now like to invite our next speaker of the day, Mr. Rakesh Bewley. Mr. Bewley is engineer and entrepreneur with more than 20 years of experience in development and manufacturing of automotive parts. He holds a Bachelor of Technology and Masters in Management Science degrees. He started sales and supply of automotive parts to Germany from 2006, followed by setting up a sales office in 2009. He moved to Germany in 2011. Since 2016, he has also added additional qualification of being an automotive auditor. There is a technical word for it, which reads, term, not word actually, reads IATF 16949 standard. I'm sure people who have technical expertise in this will relate more to it. He has audited more than 200 companies, mainly suppliers of BMW, Daimler, and Volkswagen in DACH region. He lives in Hamburg and travels very frequently between India and Germany, and is one of the and is a firm believer in the term of "Make in India." In fact, he has been using this term before this term became so popular. He is one of the founding members of India Business Forum (IBF), which supports trade between India and Germany. He is a keen golfer, and reading and playing badminton are his other two hobbies. Mr. Bewley, please.
Hello. Yeah. Honorable Mr. Raiger, distinguished speakers, and all the participants, I welcome you to this German-Indian Business Summit. Firstly, I would like to mention here that this was the brainchild of Dr. Rajesh Mishra, and I must really thank him for this initiative which he took last year, and the plan to make it bigger and with a more outreach in the coming time. I represent Indian Business Forum, which was formed to, I will just share my screen now. So Indian Business Forum was formed in 2014 together with the Indian Consul General. This was the initiative from the Indian Consulate in Hamburg and covers the 4 northern states in Germany. The main objective was to bring the Indian businessmen living in Germany together with the Indian community, business community, to cooperate together and to promote the trade and to offer opportunities to enterprise in India to work with the German companies. This was the main initiative. Then we have membership from these 4 northern states, and we have a body where Mr. Bratin Shah is the president. Priyadarshi Sharma is the vice president of the Indian Business Forum, and I am the managing director of this enterprise, and Mr. Raj Sharma is our treasurer. we have done various trade activities, trade promotion activities since 2014, which are listed here in detail. I will not take much time due to constraint, but I can share this presentation later if anyone would like to have more information about the Indian Business Forum. But one of the highlights was that in 2015, we had the opportunity to have an interaction with Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman when she was here in Hanover. And the members were invited to a dinner with the Prime Minister in Berlin during his visit to Germany. We have held various business events regularly, and we have also held events online events, interaction between the export forums in India and in Germany. One of the initiatives taken has been since 2018 to have a regular India Business Day event along with the Chamber of Commerce in Schleswig-Holstein. The first one was in 2018. The next one was planned in 2020, but I think due to the current situation, this is moved to the next year. Last year, we have participated in the India Week, Hamburg. We hosted a business event, Digital Transformation of India, which was very well received and brought some companies from India and Germany together to work in this direction. In 2020, we have not been able to do much. However, IBF teamed up with various Indian associations in Hamburg, Bremen, Hanover, and Kiel to support Indian students who are living in this region. This project was supported by the Consulate of India and by the Embassy in Berlin. This was started in 2020 and this is still ongoing. And Mr. Reiger has been the key person along with Mr. Dhingra to support this project and to take it forward. IBF offers opportunities for businessmen in India and businessmen in Germany to come together. This is a support platform, I would say, where the interaction between the two countries can be increased. So anyone who is interested to have contact or information can contact one of the board members of IBF. So this was about the IBF activities. Thank you very much. And I will now hand over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bewley. Thank you for sharing the story of IBF. And it's really impressive to see the active role that IBF is playing in bringing Indian and German businesses closer. Thank you once again. Well, before I invite our next speaker of the day, I would like to introduce FICCI to you, the organization that I'm representing today. I promise I will not take much time, just 2 minutes, because I know we are eagerly waiting for to hear our next speaker. So yes, FICCI. FICCI stands for Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, India's largest and premier industry association. Established in 1927, FICCI is the voice of India's business and industry, represented through 250,000 companies across India with the help of 75 sector-specific verticals. Currently, our president is Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, who is the Joint Managing Director of Apollo Hospitals Group. We are headquartered in New Delhi, and we have 15 offices in India and 9 internationally to enable global industry outreach. I'm based here in Berlin since last April as the country head for FICCI Germany. If you have any questions regarding FICCI Germany, or if you want to network with me, please reach out to me separately. I will leave my email ID in the chat box here. Thank you so much for your attention. Now I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Bernhard Steinrucker, to deliver his keynote address. Mr. Steinrucker is the Director General of Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, in short, IGCC. He is heading IGCC since 2003. Prior to joining IGCC, he had served in different capacities in ABC Private Customer Bank and Deutsche Bank. As far as I know, Mr. Steinrucker has been in India for the last 30 years and understands India probably way better than many of us do. Mr. Steinrucker, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pallavi, for inviting me to speak here. And of course, in 15 minutes, I'm not sure whether I can enlighten everyone about digitalization and the future of Indo-German economic relationship, because Indo-German economic relationships, as we all know, go back 500 years. And so from that angle, it's a long shot. But I think the topic is most apt. And actually, I think the Consul General in Hamburg, who of course I know very well, actually one of the first joint activities was that we took Ms. Sitte-Rahman around Berlin when she was there for the intergovernmental consultations. And at that point in time, she was not even finance minister. I think it was very interesting to be with her on that boat on the Spree and to discuss with her and learn about her German relationship when she was actually in Germany a lot of time. So also there with top-ranking Indian politicians, there's a lot of linkage to Germany. Now, with that topic, I think you followed up on the Indo-German intergovernmental consultations that were last year in November in New Delhi. And in the catalogue of 73 points, the first 13 points are only about digitalization and artificial intelligence and how Germany and India are supposed to improve their collaboration in this field. So at that point in time, nobody knew about Corona. Nobody would have dreamt that a year later, the world had changed totally. And therefore, that the two leaders and the two governments choose as the main topic of their agreement for the collaboration for the next 2 years, because the next intergovernmental consultations will be in Germany next year, would choose digitalization and artificial intelligence. And I think that is a foresight which cannot be rated high enough. Because one thing is for sure, that Corona gave a boost to digitalization. There's absolutely no way around. When certain people were still, including governments, including institutions like schools, of course also companies, if anyone was hesitant on digitalization, now they are not anymore. And actually, when you see how from one day to the other, companies changed to home office, suddenly everyone was only working online, no physical interaction possible, and still it was working, then I have to say we certainly have achieved a lot, but we have to achieve much, much more. So digitalization is the name of the hour. And when we are talking about Industry 4.0, which is supposedly the fourth step of the Industrial Revolution presented in 2011 at the Hanover Fair by Mr. Kagermann, the then head of SAP, and Dr. Dies, the then vice chair of Bosch, when they presented their strategy, then of course digitalization played a central and essential part in it. But I think now it's time for Industry 5.0. And that Industry 5.0 will be all about digitalization. And I have to say, to a certain extent, we are lucky that this coronavirus only came now. Just imagine it would have come 10 years ago. We would not have been able to communicate like this. There wouldn't have been Wi-Fi in basically every home. We all would have been stranded. So from that angle, we are lucky. And we have to make sure, and that's the topic of our conference today, that India and Germany uses the opportunities that are there, and of course also fulfills the mandate that we were given by our leaders just a year ago. So therefore, we have to look at this collaboration. And it was mentioned, of course, India is known with its Silicon Valley in Bangalore. And actually tomorrow, starts a 4-day digital summit, which will be opened by the Prime Minister together with NASSCOM. And I'm also going to participate in that, only as a listener, because it's going to be opened by the Prime Minister. But also there, the main topic is digitalization. And India, of course, as I said, with its Silicon Valley, has done wonders from nowhere. And the reason being basically, of course, the Y2K, the year 2000 was one of the big pushers to it. And today it could be Corona. And therefore, the Silicon Valley of India, Bangalore, will use it. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But also in Germany, we also have to use it, and a lot is happening already. A lot of companies are pushing heavily on digitalization because they know without it, it is not going to be possible. Now, when we look at the topics, at the targets, what are the areas the German and the Indian government were focusing on? It was health, first point, 1 year ago. It was mobility, it was environment, and it was agriculture. Can you believe it? Agriculture. And now when we see how India is reforming its agriculture, we can see how critical that point is. But the first point was health. And in health, of course, now with Corona, we can see it. But what is happening? The whole world tries to find a vaccine. And some German company, as we read every day in the papers, seems to be very close to it. Another one is from Cambridge, from Boston, American company. And the other one is the largest vaccine manufacturer in the world, Poonawalla, together with Oxford University. But, and of course, a lot of the research is digital. There's no doubt about it. But who has the most successful vaccine at the moment against Corona? The Chinese with a digital vaccine. And that is their app. When I talk to my colleagues in Shanghai or Beijing, they all tell me it's all back to normal. We can all go out. We go to restaurants. We meet our friends. They even have trade fairs. The Chinese economy at the moment is growing again. They are out of it. How did they do it? With that app, with a digital vaccination. And this is a revolution, which I think the rest of the world has not realized as yet. And when on top of it, just 2 days ago, the Asian countries, unfortunately without India, have signed a free trade agreement, which is going to be the largest free trade agreement in the world. I can tell you, it's all going to be pushed by digitalization. And this, of course, for the European countries, for India, also for America, is a big challenge. Because the fastest growing economies in the world, and that's Asia, are now going together and are going to form an association which is unique in the world. That, and it was mentioned, is interesting for India. India has decided not to go along with them. Well, maybe that's another opportunity for India to finally find a way to have a comprehensive free trade agreement with the EU. We've been discussing it now for 12 years. Recently, we were in a call with the Indian Minister for Economics and Industry, Piyush Goyal, and he mentioned that India wants to have another attempt for a free trade agreement. I think the time is absolutely right, because also Europe, with all the challenges that are there, has to position itself anew. And in Europe now, capacities are there. After having signed with Japan, with Vietnam, with South Africa, Sub-Sahara, with Latin America, and with Canada. Now they have time to look at a new FTA with India. And with digitalization being here, that's a unique opportunity. So I can only hope that the European and the Indian government will use this opportunity to look beyond the various, stumbling blocks that were there. Unnecessary, I can tell you, very unnecessary. I mean, why are we discussing about cars and about liquor and about free movement of people, about pharmaceuticals? It's all manageable. But of course, we have to do it. And this, I think, is the situation that we are in at the moment. And therefore, I think it's always good to have events like this. We as Indo-German Chamber of Commerce have been in India now for almost 65 years. And we've seen it all. When I see where we came from in 1956 and where we stand today, where India stands today, where Germany stands today, where our binational relations stands today, where our people stand today, we've come a long, long way. And I think we can do much, much, much more. I'm optimistic because one thing that we have achieved in the last couple of years, especially the last 2-3 years, is the fact that our youth is moving together. The number of Indian students studying in Germany last year, more than 25,000. 70% of them are studying engineering. That is what we need. That is where we have the Indian potential. And they will develop all about digitalization together with our expertise on industry, on manufacturing. So from that angle, I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic because already today, the by far largest number of people from any country who has in Germany the so-called green card are people from India. And when I then look at the vast potential that we now can gather with our new law for qualified migration, then I'm very optimistic for our relationship. And I can tell you, digitalization will be our tool. So from that angle, thank you so much for inviting me to give this keynote address. You can imagine I could keep on talking. I will stop here because there are other eminent speakers, and I'm very grateful for having been invited. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steinrucker, for spreading the canvas for today's discussion. You have summed it all. This is an excellent beginning. You have used optimism, and I am a very optimistic person. So I agree there is room for improvement, but optimism is the key word, and that's the takeaway that I'm going to take take away with me from your talk. Thank you once again for joining us today from Mumbai, one of the many benefits of digitalization. Thank you once again.
My pleasure.
I would now like to invite our next speaker of the day, Mr. Vatsal Khullar, Senior Investment Specialist, Invest India from New Delhi. Mr. Khullar leads the Germany team and facilitates investments from other Eastern European countries. As part of the Germany team, he also spearheads the execution of the G2G, that is government to government, Indo-German fast track mechanism with over 75% of the issues resolved. Mr. Khullar is also a member of the Financial Investors Initiatives and Invest India. And as part of this initiative, he has worked on designing and developing India's first portal to promote opportunities in stressed assets, which was valued at $150 billion. He works on attracting institutional investment in India by analyzing investor strategy and curating investment opportunities. Mr. Khullar leads the roads and highway sector at the Invest India and works closely with the project development cell at the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways to further propel investments in the sector. Mr. Khullar, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pallavi. And good morning to everyone joining us from Germany today. It's a pleasure to be here. Right? Over the next 20 to 25 minutes, My endeavor is to actually take us through the transformation that India has witnessed over the last few years and the kind of opportunities it offers for people looking at investing in the country today. What you see on your screen is what the Mumbai airport looked like in 2013. Mumbai is the financial capital of the country, and a lot of you may have visited Mumbai at some point of time or the other. In 2013, this is what it looked like, and fast forward to 2018, this is what it looks like today. It's a world-class airport catering to 50 million passengers annually. Similar story in terms of what you see on your screen is the Meerut highway, which connects the national capital of Delhi to key industrial towns in northern part of India. This is what it looked like in 2014, and this is what it looks like today. It's a 14-lane access control expressway. Through these pictures, I mean, I have so many of these pictures to showcase, but the point or the essence that I'm trying to communicate is the kind of transformation that India has been witnessing as part of its journey towards becoming a developed economy. Here, what you see is the Varanasi railway station, which is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. The station, what it looked like in 2013 and what it looks like in 2018, as good as any world-class railway station. That brings me to the essence of what I feel is the heart of this presentation, or what I'm trying to convey, which are these three pillars. First is the economy, second is the demography, and the third is democracy. India is the third largest economy in the world by PPP terms, valued with the economy valued at somewhere around $2.8 trillion. And what we've seen over the last 2 decades is that there has been tremendous investment interest in the economy. What you see is that between 2000 and 2020, India received $681 billion worth of foreign investment. But over 50% of this amount has only come in the last 6 years, between 2014 and 2020, which showcases the kind of enthusiasm and interest that the global community today sees India with. And one of the key driving forces of this interest is the population. India is expected to be 1.5 billion people by 2025 with an average age of 29. And with this average age of 29, a new Indian is looking to buy their first car today, is looking to purchase their first house today, which is what showcases the kind of consumption strength that India, or the consumption potential that India has. According to a BCG study, any Indian born in after the 2000s is likely to spend somewhere close to $245,000 during their lifetime. We multiply that with 1.5 billion, and that is what can summarize the entire India consumption story. Last year, we witnessed the largest democratic exercise in the world with the general elections to the Indian Parliament. We had 900 million registered voters, of which 600 million exercised their franchise. And this is what keeps the democracy vibrant. It ensures there is constant communication, there is constant checks and balances in the country. And it ensures that any decision that is taken by the government is after thorough deliberation and ensures longevity of decisions. There is recognition within the government that good economics is at the heart of good politics. And it is for this that the government has launched the Make in India campaign with an idea of transforming India into a manufacturing hub, increasing the share of the manufacturing sector in India's GDP from 16% to 25% by 2025. What you see on your screen is opportunity worth $5 trillion that have been estimated across different sectors. There are sectors such as electronics, there are sectors such as auto and auto components, there is pharmaceutical, which holds even greater importance in the context that we're speaking in today. And this doesn't even summarize because there are social sectors over and above this. The opportunity that India holds, as I mentioned, the Make in India campaign, to create the right ecosystem for businesses to manufacture in India, for businesses to invest in India. The government has estimated infrastructure investment needs over the next 5 years. The investment plans have been charted out for the next 5 years to create the infrastructure that India needs for the next decade. Between 2019 and 2025, India is looking to invest somewhere close to $1.4 trillion to create infrastructure. Under this includes creation of 100 smart cities, 100 airports, new high-speed railway corridors, about 66,000 kilometers worth of roads. And I can keep on, talking about the kind of investment that India is planning and is already undertaking across different sectors of the economy. Approximately 21% of this investment is likely or is estimated to come from private participation, and that also showcases the kind of investment potential that the infrastructure sector also holds in India. The theme for today is digitization and digitalization. And as the Honorable Consul General earlier mentioned, India has taken multiple steps to actually leverage the digital platforms to bring the country closer together and to create it as one single economic entity. On the left side of the screen, what you see is what we refer to as the JAM Trinity, which is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and Mobile. As part of the JAM Trinity, what India did was it opened 375 million bank accounts to ensure that every household in the country was connected to the banking system or the financial system. It issued 1.25 billion unique identity numbers, which map each resident in India. And lastly, through the wide penetration of smartphones or mobile phones in the country, today we have what we call, as I mentioned, the JAM Trinity, through which any person sitting at any part of the country can undertake digital transactions, can use payment wallets, can undertake any online purchases. There is a large plethora of opportunities that has opened up with the creation of the JAM Trinity. And this has been possible through the Digital India initiative, under which there are 661 million internet users in India. Combined with the Startup India initiative and efforts such as to roll out one single tax, which is the goods and services tax, India truly is one single economic entity today with a lot of opportunities. What you see on your screen today is the kind of experience that companies have had in India. So on your right-hand side of the screen, I'll just quickly touch upon the example of Suzuki and Standard Life. What we've seen is that for various global companies, their Indian subsidiaries has outperformed their global parent. For instance, for Suzuki, the Indian subsidiaries has a market capitalization which is greater than the global parent. Suzuki, for that matter, sells more cars in India than all of its other countries in sales combined. Last year, for Suzuki, 52% of its global sales were only in India, with 48% spread across other geographies in the world. Bloomberg did a very interesting study where it interviewed 600 global top CEOs, 200 each from the Americas, from Europe, and Australasia. And based on the responses that they received from these CEOs, they were asked to rank the different countries across the world and in India's neighborhood on 10 parameters. The CEOs ranked India number 1 in 8 out of 10 parameters that you see on your screen. As we also mentioned, as Lee also mentioned earlier, India has emerged as the number 1 research and development destination for key companies in the world. We have close to 1140 R&D centers of MNCs in India, employing over 900,000 professionals. And what is very interesting to note is that key global companies such as Intel, Samsung, Google, Amazon have opened their largest R&D centers outside of their home bases in India. This research and development ecosystem is further fueled by the large startup ecosystem that India has, and with the new startups that are emerging now in India, there is a lot of research and development that's happening. And through these research and development initiatives, there is a lot of leveraging. These startups are seeing very quick, achieving the unicorn status in record time. On the right-hand side of your screen, there is a list of startups and the time they were taken from their inception to when they reach the unicorn status. In red, you can see that there are various multiple Indian startups which reached unicorn status within 2 years of incubation or inception, or within 3 years of incubation or inception. Mrs. Steinrucke was mentioning Bangalore as India's Silicon Hub, and how it's been at the forefront or the center of a lot of development activity in terms of startups. But increasingly, what we're also seeing now is that the startup movement is moving beyond the tier 1 cities to tier 2 cities such as Jaipur and Bhopal, or even tier 3 cities such as Nasik and Vadodara. And over a period of time, what India is going to be is that it's going to move into a nation of job creators, wherein these startups are looking to create jobs. Through the activities or through the steps that I just mentioned, what India has seen has been a tremendous jump in the ease of doing business. From a rank of 142 in 2014, we've seen a jump of 79 places, and we currently stand at rank 63 in the World Bank's ease of doing business ranking. But we know this is just the beginning. We have a long way to go. And the government has continuously been taking various steps to actually further invite investments into the country. Key policy reforms that have been announced over the last few months include the corporate tax rate being reduced for manufacturing companies to an effective rate of 17.16%. A new empowered group of secretaries has been constituted at the central level to fast-track investment clearances. The FDI regime has been liberalized for various sectors, including coal and mining and defense production. And India is working tremendously to upgrade its industrial infrastructure by mapping all the industrial parks that exist currently in the country and also creating plug-and-play facilities. The government has also recently launched the Production-Linked Incentive Scheme, which covers 10 sectors. Here, what you see on your screen is a brief comparison of some of the countries in India's neighborhood and how India fares vis-a-vis these different countries. Whether one looks at the corporate tax rate of manufacturing, the budget transparency, or the ease of getting credit, India ranks number 1 or 2 among the key countries in India's neighborhood and the kind of competitive advantage that the country offers for people looking to set up their manufacturing base in the country. Today, the world is looking to get out of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the wheels of economic growth are chugging back on. India offers unique advantages as a manufacturing hub in the country, with over 1,100 global in-house manufacturing centers in the country, which promise a resilient and diversified economy. Increasingly, various states in the country are offering approvals and incentive packages within 30 days of an application being filed. And there are 22 million square feet of ready plug-and-play facilities, which are ready for any company to move in within 6 to 8 weeks upon deciding. So these are the kind of alternative advantages that India is offering to different companies that are looking to set up base in the country. Germany and India is a very important partnership for the country. Germany is the 7th largest foreign investor in India. And over the last decade, it has invested close to $12 billion in India. What you see on your screen on the right-hand side is some of the companies that actually have presence in India. And it is noteworthy to mention here, as Mrs. Steinrucke earlier mentioned, the Indian partnership goes centuries, before where we are today. It's noteworthy that Siemens was among the first companies that laid the transmission cable between Calcutta and London back in the 1870s. And we have numerous such examples where German companies have been present in India since pre-independence. But we do realize that there is still further potential to invite or to have a greater German presence in India. And as Invest India, as the National Investment Promotion Facilitation Agency, we have been working on 200 plus business requests, which span across different sectors. They range from renewable energy in the automotive sector, textiles and garments, electric vehicles, food processing. And these are just to name a few, the list is long. Here is what I thought would be interesting to mention is the kind of experience that some of the German companies have had in India. The example of Siemens is an important example that I'd like to bring here. That the Indian subsidiary of Siemens has actually seen a greater growth in share price and therefore value to shareholders than its global parent. And similarly, the return on capital employed of the Indian subsidiary has been greater than the global parent, which actually tries to showcase that, the kind of the growth potential that India has at the moment. Similarly, for Bosch, it operates the largest R&D center outside of Germany with about 18,000 R&D engineers employed in India. This brings us to Invest India and how, for the government of India, the German-India business corridor is of extreme importance. There are multiple bilateral initiatives that have been institutionalized for this business corridor. The first being institutionalized during the intergovernmental consultations in 2015, wherein the Indo-German fast-track mechanism was set up, with the idea that German companies in India should have their issues resolved in a swift and fast manner. Under the mechanism, we've witnessed a great success with over 75% of the issues being resolved. And this is also extended into various ease of doing business roundtables that are conducted periodically. The Make in India Mittelstand, which is run by the Indian Embassy in Berlin, is another such initiative wherein we are focusing on inviting the Mittelstand companies to come and set up base in India, and also to bring the supply chain of key anchor units that are already present in India. Lastly, Invest India is also the official ambassador of GINSEP, which is this German-India Startup Exchange Program, because we believe that there is great potential between the two startup ecosystems to engage with each other and build synergies accordingly. This brings me to the end of my presentation, and here I'd just like to briefly introduce Invest India once again. We are the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency of the Government of India. We are housed within the Ministry of Commerce and Industry of the Government of India. And we work very closely with foreign investors, right from the idea of why exploring or explaining why India, or the kind of opportunities that India has to offer, from there to facilitating their investment in India, whether it is through location assessment, helping them get those incentive packages with various state governments. And once their investment is up and running, supporting them with any aftercare or any issues that they may face in their execution. Thank you so much. Over to you, Pallavi.
Thank you, Vatsal. Thank you so much for covering such vast topics, in such a short span of time. And I must say that you have brilliantly covered almost everything. I couldn't point my finger on anything that you have missed out on. So, and very, I was really impressed to see the initial three pillars that you have mentioned, economy, demography, and democracy. And you have covered everything within these three pillars. Thank you once again for your time, Vatsal. Do we have any questions for Vatsal here? Because we still have a few minutes left before our next speaker takes the stage. If we have any question.
Yes, Jasper Baumig here. I would have,
hello.
Oops. I would have one question.
All right, Mr. Baumig, please go ahead.
How is India prepared currently on the possible supply chain act, which is currently discussed in Germany, but also on EU level, which in my opinion is an opinion for both sides, but to work more closely together, but it's an effort also.
Sorry, Jasper, if I understand your question right, is this the supply chain that we're talking about from the perspective of the vaccine storage and supply chain?
No, it's a supply chain act is about the compliance with human rights and environmental standards, which in Germany, every company above 500 people has to care about on the complete supply chain, which is difficult for them. I mean, they didn't start really, therefore, but that's why it might become an act in the next few months or something like that. It's something that should be done this year or this legislation period. So it's pretty actual.
Mr. Baumig, thank you so much for this question. As I understand that this is still being discussed in Germany as an act, it will be a little premature for India for us to comment on that. But Vatsal, if you have any.
To be honest, it's a topic that is already stated in the UN in 2011, and only all the countries have fear put that into an act, so that's the only thing. But
if I can, I do agree with you, and in fact, this is something India has been working on in the background. Okay, and the work is ongoing. But Vatsal, if you want to add anything to this, please.
Thank you, Pallavi. I think I agree with you that since it's at a deliberation stage, it may be difficult to comment on this right now. But what I'd like to mention here is that a lot of these topics of conversation, both in terms of experience of companies in India, whether it is in terms of the restrictions on employees or restrictions that emerge out of employees, are constantly discussed at G2G levels, both when ministers of commerce engage, and I think we're also looking at some engagement between the finance ministers of India and Germany, and during the intergovernmental consultations as well. So I guess the points of concern that emerge out of both German companies in India as well as Indian companies in Germany are factored in during these conversations. That's yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your question, Mr. Bhowmik, and thank you, Vatsal, for your response to it. I think we have time to take one more questions, and then I'll move on to our next speaker.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Gaur.
Yes, sorry, I thought somebody had a question.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Greetings from India. Myself, Aditya. So why not, if you see that the rate of unicorns in the India is in the less times, 2 years and 3 years, and in the term of 4 years, the rate of unicorns startups in India is in the less times, in the 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. Why not something that India and Germany could exchange their students further, so they can work together and make this more and more impactful for them, and take the unicorns to the next level as soon as with the period of time.
Absolutely. And that is something, thank you, Aditya, that is something that India and Germany have been very closely engaging. So during my presentation, I also mentioned something called GINSEP, which is the German-India Startup Exchange Program, which is, which works upon the idea that the startups that exist in both Germany and India should engage with each other to ensure that greater synergies can be built. There are regular startup exchanges that also take place between the two countries. And through the Startup India initiative, which is also housed within Invest India, we also work closely with different German startups that are now looking to access the Indian market. And then there are mechanisms in place for Indian startups which are allowed access to the German economy as well. So I also believe that the Indian mission in Frankfurt is also looking to the Indian consulate in Frankfurt is also hosting a startup challenge. So to summarize, there is a lot that is happening in terms of startup collaboration between the two countries. And I think there is a very strong belief which also emerged during the intergovernmental consultations last year between the two heads of government, that there is still a lot of potential that, between the German-India startup ecosystem, which can be leveraged upon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vatsal. I completely agree. There is an immense potential, and needless to say that the stakeholders on both the sides are working towards it. So thank you so much for your time, Vatsal. Thank you for your question, Aditya. Now is the time to move on to our next speaker, Ms. Julian Fromter. She is the Program Director of Next Step India, German Accelerator. Next Step India program, it's supporting German startups to enter the Indian market. Before this, Julian had spent 3 years as Director International Programs with one of India's most prestigious eco-building system organizations called T-Hub. And is therefore has been an integral part of Indo-German innovation and startup ecosystem. She holds an executive MBA from Hult International Business School, and has lived and studied and worked in Germany, Ireland, Great Britain, Switzerland, and India. Julian, we are keen to listen to you now.
Yeah, good morning, Pallavi. Good to see you, and thanks for having me today. Thanks for the sweet introduction. I'm really pleased to be here with you this morning. Let me just share my screen really quickly. can you help me understand what you can see right now, Pallavi?
I can see your screen. I can see the presentation very well.
Is this a presenter view or like the presentation? Like just the...
No, not the presenter view.
You see the presenter view?
Yeah.
Let me change it.
I don't see it in the full screen.
Is it better?
Just give it few seconds. It takes a little time. Yes, perfect.
All right. Then let's start. So I was asked to speak about the topic digitization in Germany and its export potential for India. As you've heard, I work with the German Accelerator, and we do help German startups to internationalize globally. And my work specifically pertains to India. And maybe a little bit of background about myself beyond what Pallavi already shared. I think what really emulates my work is this quote from Virginia Rometty: "I learned to always take on things I'd never done before. Growth and comfort do not coexist." And while this quote used to be my destiny, as I was working through the early stages of my career, I had a dream of working in the music industry, for example, and just when I was, coming out of my initial studies, that whole industry collapsed. But eventually it turned into my mantra, and it has, really helped me to always strive to do new things. And I think that has been part of the path for me to spend some time in India and to really learn the in and outs of the startup ecosystem in India. Coming to the topic in itself. So what I would like to start with is to digest a little bit the word digitization, because in itself, and I understand not everybody is from the digital world here in this call. Today, we're talking about many different topics as they pertain to economic relations between India and Germany. So for those who are not, for who this is not their daily topic, I just allow me a bit of time to explain what it is with this word, because I think digitization may not be the right word for us to dig into this today. Digitization is really the very base of creating digital representation of physical objects and attributes, while what we are striving for is a process through digitalization and ultimately digital transformation, which is where we want our Mittelstand, small, medium businesses, and large corporates to get to. The startups we work with are generally digital natives, so they're very familiar with working with new business models and business processes based on digital technologies. Now, what's the actual state of digital transformation in Germany and also Europe? I must say it doesn't really look that good. We've been actually lagging behind in an international comparison, and SAP, as you see here, is the only one from Europe that is really standing out. And if we look at Germany, the numbers unfortunately doesn't really look much different. And while these numbers are from 2018 and some good progress has been done here, we're definitely not the leaders when it comes to digital products within Germany, but also in the way we export them. So we are generally lagging behind in exporting digital products to the world. And I understand my work as well in the way that we have to change that. And so as a basic assessment, I would say, and some of you may be familiar with this analogy of the butterfly, that we have a lot of really fast caterpillars, but not many butterflies yet. But then came the pandemic, and that may have been the day when the risk to remain the same was greater than the risk to change. And just to underline what I just shared, this graphic really shows us where Germany was just a couple of months ago. But the positive news of this slide is that when Germany ever puts their mind onto something and they really want to move, there is actually a lot of possibility and opportunity. So you see here that Germany was the one that, you know, overcame a gap significantly over the past couple of months and has almost caught up with all the other countries that are mentioned here. So I think this is a hopeful sign. And if we keep going at this pace, I'm sure we can reach the excellence that we generally are known for. And just to give you an example, also while transferring a little bit to the way we look at the relationships between Germany and India, I would like to highlight one example from Siemens Healthineers. You may remember just not even 4 weeks ago, there was a major announcement by Siemens. Siemens Healthineers invests in the growth market India and drives digitalization of healthcare by setting up an innovation hub in Bangalore. And I find this statement particularly interesting for many, many reasons. The way the language is used here in this statement, and I will read it out for you just to highlight a little bit what is important here and how strategically has Siemens decided to ultimately not just produce from India for the world, but also for India from India. This investment is the largest we have ever made in India. It will play a key role in taking our business to the next level by driving digitalization and expanding our portfolio for emerging markets. So you see here, there is a very bold language generally, but also there is an idea and a strategic decision to create products in India, not just for India, but for the whole of emerging markets and the role that can India play in that spectrum. The Innovation Hub in Bangalore will demonstrate our commitment to advance healthcare through cutting-edge digital technologies, as well as through accessible and affordable innovations driven from India. The two words that I would like to highlight here, and that any German company that looks at India should really keep in mind, is accessibility and affordability. Is your product able to provide a service to more people than what current solutions can? And also, is it affordable to the people of India when we look at innovations that have a need and also should be successful in the country? There were a couple of other announcements over the last couple of months, majorly from the US by companies like Facebook and Google, which shows that there is a heightened interest in the digital space in the Indian market. But even German companies are not lagging behind. A couple of other companies that are really putting themselves to the forefront with digital as agendas include obviously SAP. We've seen this before, and they have a very strong presence that is very felt in India, but also Schaeffler, Bosch, and Siemens operate very strongly in the area of Industry 4.0, which has seen tremendous uptick since the pandemic hit specifically. I was always a little shy on attracting startups in that space for India, but I was just talking to the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce in Mumbai yesterday, and they said, no, we are really seeing some major shifts here and interest of the market to adopt these types of technologies. So my conclusion here would be, in terms of opportunities for anything between startups and large corporates, would be the areas of Industry 4.0, enterprise tech, healthcare, obviously, and logistics has been also really hard hit, and people are looking for solutions, and obviously often with some overlap into Industry 4.0. And it kind of builds on the strengths of Germany, really, these kind of areas. And in the last stretch of my presentation, I want to jump a little bit into the actual work that we have with the German Accelerator and our Next Step India program, and showcase how we approach the topic. As I said before, we're talking about the digital natives here. For them, they build business model from the beginning with digital technologies at their core. And as a program team from the very early days, and that was before the pandemic, we looked at or we focused on sectors that Germany is traditionally very strong in, and where a technological benefit is a core USP, because German innovators will probably not compete on price or context in India, and therefore need some flexibility to adopt their models to the Indian context and local circumstances. What we spend significant time on during the program is to build a Desi business model, like an Indian business model, with all our participants, based on a process of experiential learning through sessions on business and culture, discussions with local accomplished mentors, local potential clients, and subject matter experts. We've chosen health tech and life sciences, logistics and mobility, enterprise tech and industry 4.0, as well as sustainability and agri-tech as our focus sectors. And we've seen really good traction with this in our very first year this year from the German startups that are keen to look at India as a market. And I will pick out, in the interest of time, I've picked out 2 startups that we had in our program this year for you to get a glimpse of how do they look like and what is special about them, and that we think as a program team, they are the right ones to look at India. Because India, obviously, for young companies, it's a very daring market. So we want to make sure that we improve their chances to succeed. So Canostics is one of those companies that has embarked on this exploration and market entry jointly with us. Canostic aims to beat cancer simply by diagnosing it so early that it can be already cured today. So this is a very innovative solution that uses AI and analyzes the blood to detect cancer super early, which would make a huge difference to millions of Indians. The interesting thing here is not just the moment when the cancer can be detected, but it is also the price point of this test that makes it so applicable for India. And I'm really happy to share that there's already medical trials underway in India at this moment in time. My second choice fell on Double, which is an AI autonomous building management system with the ability to self-manage building control systems more efficiently than any human. Double reduces energy and operational costs and simultaneously increase the wellness and productivity of tenants by ensuring a healthy environment. So we've seen quite some interest from sustainability and e-mobility startups and many more in that spectrum. And what we felt was really important, apart from the ecological impact that they have, reducing CO2 emissions, for example, what really works with Indian clients on the other side is to show significant savings on cost, operational cost. And as soon as you can combine these 2 aspects, there's a huge interest to implement sustainability solutions. And last but not least, just to conclude for today, I would like to summarize some 5 things that we learned in working with the startups over the past year. It is really important to spend time understanding your customer. Customer needs to come first, and European clients are so fundamentally different from Indian clients that, everyone needs to spend a good amount of time understanding the differences. Where we see German companies succeed is if they provide a superior technology and value proposition while saving time and money for their clients. We need to meet local pricing expectations, and we do evaluate through the program and the conversations we have with market players a variety of options that include local production, volume at which is being sold, or a leaner functionality for the market as potential options to bring pricing down where required. Spend time building relationships. I think this is a evergreen. It is immensely important in India to really spend time with the people you're trying to do business with. And last but not least, localize, localize, localize. We can't emphasize this enough, how important it is to adopt to the market. And we highly suggest to take help. We've seen a couple of these organizations previously. We are here, and there's so many more. We mentioned GINSEP, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, the likes of FICCI, etc. They're all here to help. All of us offer programs that are targeted at specific, startups, small and medium businesses, large corporates, Mittelstand. There's so many initiatives today. Please make use of it. It makes things so much more easy. Thanks a lot. If you want to know more about me and the organization of the German Accelerator, please reach out to me through my email. Thanks a lot for giving your time to me today.
Thank you, Julian. Thank you so much for sharing the growth of digitalization in Germany pre-COVID and post-COVID times. That is truly fascinating, and I do agree with you that if Germany sets its eye to achieve something, in all likelihood they are going to do it in a very efficient manner. So yeah. I do agree with you. And since we don't have a lot of time, I would just like to ask your permission to, take to steal your quote about growth and comfort can't coexist. Can I quote this, in future, because I really love it and I can't agree more.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm sure a lot of our startups who are with us today will take a lesson from just this small sentence.
Yeah, and I can, if anyone has questions and we don't really have time to answer them, I can stick around for another 10 or 15 minutes to try to answer them on the chat.
I think it would really help if you leave your email ID in the chat, because we are already late for our panel discussion.
All right.
Now.
Thanks a lot, Pallavi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julian, for such brilliant presentation.
Thank you.
This brings us to the next part of our summit today, which is the panel discussion. We have eminent lineup of speakers who will be talking to us in that panel discussion. And that panel discussion will be moderated by Mr. Sanjay Tambe. Mr. Tambe is the managing partner of Longhouse Partners GmbH and president of Indian Institute Munich. He is joining us today from Munich. Mr. Tambe is a passionate serial entrepreneur with decades of cross-border and restructuring expertise for Indo-German ventures. He is a postgraduate in business informatics and international finance from Munich University. He is a mentor and investor in innovative startups in food tech, medtech, healthcare, hospitality, e-commerce in India and Europe. He's also a philanthropist and coach with established family office network in DACH region. Mr. Tambe, please.
Thank you, Pallaviji. Thank you. I would like to, first of all, say thank you and congratulations for making this German-Indian Business Summit happen today. Thank you very much, Sir Madanlal Raigirji, Dr. Shazia Bulbers, Mr. Christian Gutschmidt, and Mr. Bernhard Steinrücker, as well as all the speakers who have been there, and of course my friend Dr. Rajesh Mishra from Bremen, who enabled this event to happen. I actually have a lineup of really very good and proper experts who are in the domain of digitalization. I feel like the most dummy user of digitalization in this case, but nevertheless I'm very proud to be able to lead this session of the panel discussion today. I have a few things which I have put together as a panel subject, because the main subject is of course digitization, but I would like to focus on the appreciation, promotion and opportunities which digitalization offers between the two countries, India and Germany. Accordingly, I have put my questions. I don't want to make it too technical, because we have absolute experts on the panel which can actually tell us a lot more about digitalization than we actually are using in practice. But I would like to focus on how our life is changing through digitalization, and how we are making use of it, how India can benefit from the German digitalization initiatives which have taken place. And of course, one of the most important things is the data protection, which is really highly spoken in Germany, and how it is used in India, basically how it is used in Germany and India, and how a normal person can protect himself against digitalization if he doesn't want to. Is there an option, or has digitalization already taken our lives up? This is the focus of my discussion. Please be with me and welcome all the guests who are panel speakers. I would begin with a question which would go to Mr. Klaus Meyer, who is the chairman and managing director of Meyer and Vidorno Group in Gurugram in Delhi. Very unusual for a German name to be in Delhi, Gurugram, but he seems to be one of the pioneers there who has started this company there. Klaus Meyer is an expert in developing successful and sustainable market entry and market expansion strategies for European and American companies in India. Before and after his studies of international management in Spain and Germany, he worked with the trading arm of the Stinnes Aon Group of companies in New York and Germany. As M&V, as the group is called, Meyer and Vidorno Group's chairman and managing director, he lives in New Delhi and has been doing business with and in India for over 20 plus years. So welcome, Mr. Klaus Meyer. I would like to put a question
thank
to you.
Thank you for your kind words.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. I have myself lived in Gurgaon around between 2012 to 2017, so I know how it has developed a lot there, and it's the best place to live if you are in India, I can say. So my question goes to you: the cultural challenges the organization faces nowadays in digitalization. How does the management, CEO of such companies perceive digitization? And what kind of preparatory steps one need to take to prepare an organization for digitization? Can these learnings from Germany be mapped easily in Indian context? It's a huge question, but you can answer a part of it if you like, and then we can move forward.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your question. And obviously, I love to answer all those intercultural questions because I get them asked actually quite a few times. And let me start with the processes of digitalization, which we also had, to be quite frank, we had to learn quite a lot this year. I mean, in March, end of March 22nd, I still remember, on March 21st, when the Prime Minister announced a partial curfew, like test curfew. Yeah, everybody was ready for that one day, but nobody expected that from Monday onwards our life would have been different. So we had to bring all our people, and all over India we have about 150, 160 people nowadays. We had had to bring them overnight into home offices. And you see, we are in the service industry, so that one may say, look, that's much easier than a production site, which is actually true. But to be quite frank, most of our, or many of our peoples are executives, and they still used to work on desktops. So overnight, we had to get them laptops, we had to connect with them in their home offices, we had to make sure that we had stable internet connection. We worked with SAP here. That's how we administer our transactions, and only with a stable internet connection actually can work. So that was quite a challenge, and I was very skeptical initially how that was going to work, but I must say it worked wonderfully. I mean, we are still people who are working from home, or quite a few of our people work from home. And if I say from home, a lot of them went back to their villages. They went up to Uttarakhand, they went to Himachal, they went to Orissa, they went to MP, or basically all over the country, and they work from there nowadays till date. So, which means a lot of things are possible when it comes to the digital world. And I must say thank you to our IT department. So basically, what did we do when it comes to digitalization? Obviously, we had always a strong ERP IT department, because lots of our customers work on our system, and they have country managers, sales managers all over the place. So which means they all need a stable internet connection. So one part is obviously you need to look into your resources. What resources do you have? How is your organization fit for the change? And what do you want to achieve? Then also, how do you want to communicate with the customer? And that I saw, for example, with our sales managers, with the country heads of various German companies. You see, they used to sell face to face, and from one day to the next, they had to develop digital presentations, in talking to customers, in explaining products. That was one of the very, very difficult topics, to explain basically, or to make a product tangible, even though he couldn't feel it, couldn't touch it. And everybody knows how difficult it is to sell German machinery already, if you can see it, if you can feel it, if you can see the results. But to do that digitally was obviously also very, very, it was a challenge. And another point is when you start digitalizing, the very difficult word, your company, is obviously you need to look into your processes. And one thing what we learned, for example, while doing it, how people work, how people use to communicate, how people ask for approvals internally, how information moves from one desk to the next, and you see a lot of redundancy. So also there you can basically learn a lot how to become more efficient and more effective. And I think that is the main point. Digitalization for me means becoming more effective and more efficient in your processes, in the work you do, in your daily work. Coming to the first part of your question, interculturally, I think that goes for everything. It doesn't mean only for digital topics, but also for other topics. Being a German, working in India, I learned one thing. If you want to transfer your German knowledge, your German way of working one-to-one to India, it does not work. I mean, simply it does not work. Yeah, you will fail, you will not succeed, and you will abandon or will leave the country being frustrated. So obviously you need to learn how to communicate with your local staff, with your business partners in India. And even though we all speak English, which is one of the big advantages here in India, we may use the same words, but the meaning may be slightly different. So it takes a bit of experience to really understand how to communicate, what to communicate, and also to make sure that actually what you said has been perceived in the same way as you send out the message.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Mr. Klaus Meyer. I'm very happy that you could elaborately answer this question. I'm also happy that I could put this question to you and that we have you in this panel. It must be a very good experience being in India, especially also in these times, but in general as a developing nation and rapidly developing nation. and on the peak of digitalization, which Germany claims to want to reach, but it seems India is much faster there in Germany. We would like to welcome questions. Please put them in the chat box, and I'll put them at the in between. I would first like to welcome the next guest, whom also have a difficult question. That's Mr. Mukul Dhyani. I don't know if he's there. I don't. Oh yes.
Yes, I'm very much there. Hi.
Yes.
Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon and welcome, sir. You are the Senior Vice President and Business Head of Continental Europe at Tech Mahindra. Tech Mahindra is a $5.2 billion global technology and IT service company and is part of 21 billion Mahindra Group. I have quite a few friends at Tech Mahindra. And he has over 20 years of professional experience spanning across 5 European countries and has also worked in Singapore and the US. He's an expert in finding the best technologies for solving business problems and opening up new growth opportunities for large multinational customers. Prior to joining Tech Mahindra, he was part of the leadership at Wipro and Infosys, which are also very large MNCs from India, managing their businesses in Central Europe, USA, and has held regional management positions with other multinational firms, where he helped set up and scale operations in Central and Eastern Europe. Mr. Mukul, it sounds like first of all, thank you for being with us on the panel.
Thank you for having me.
I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of your speeches about digitalization and engineering, design, and trend reports, which you seem to be at the tip of it. So thank you that you can be with us. I have relatively a simple question for you because looking at the audience, we want to be, on a surface where we can understand how digitalization can help the Indo-German scenario. So what are the technical challenges in digitization at this point? So what is the current level of maturity in the German industry? Can you compare the maturity level of German industry with Indian market? And what does India need to effectively digitize? What are the advantages of the situation India itself has as compared to Germany?
I think it's a very long question though to answer, but I'll summarize it in very few words. So the challenges from a Germany perspective are quite different than the challenges in India. And I think the technology adoption, especially the newer technology adoption in India, is far better compared to Germany. And this has different reasons. One of such examples can be that how many digital payments are happening, or what is the growth of digital payments in an advanced economy like Germany. Till COVID hit us, I think it was less than 30% contactless payments or equivalent of that. The number has now increased to 65, 70%, but that's because of the situation. So still it was pretty much a cash economy. So these are some of the behavioral, some of the consumer related the hindrances to adopting digitization in the market from a Germany perspective. There are also several issues like GDPR. When I look at non-consumer enterprise adoption of technology, even the biggest automakers are not adopting artificial intelligence because there is a clear belief that it will hinder into the private space of employees. And this is both the worker councils as well as the organizations don't want to do or want to go slow on it. The second thing is that while Germany is a very engineering oriented economy, what it means also on the other side is that a lot of these plannings have to be done for 3 years in advance, 2 years in advance. And the way the digitization market goes, the way the digital economy goes, is all about speed to value. And in that sense, some of these innovations which used to take 2 years to come and to take to market are something being done in 6 months' time. So I think these are some of the challenges that need to be overcome. To your question about India, again, the challenges are very different. These are more, while I think the Invest India presentation was pretty good, but there are still a lot of challenges, and Mr. Steinrucke will keep mentioning it, that there is enough to be done on the side of infrastructure itself before we can talk about digitization. But I think there is clearly a benefit that Germany can drive in this collaboration, both on the side of creating the speed to value for some of the German companies, where both the Indian startups as well as the companies like us can bridge that gap, can give enough strength to already the work that is happening on the ground. In doing that, whether it's in enterprise tech or it's in Industry 4.0, I think the Germany adoption of 5G will be more relevant than the thing in India. And companies like even my company, Tech Mahindra, we have invested significant amount of money in making sure that's a scalable enterprise tech that can be provided to the customers, right?
Okay, thank you, sir. I also understand that India and Germany seem to have completely different challenges. It begins now already with taking a flight to India and what needs to be registered when you are taking a flight to India, and other way around from India to Germany. And the doubt still remains if you can just openly travel at this point or not. So as an Indian, I'm being continuously asked from my German friends, so can I travel to India now? And it seems to be a digitalized answer, yes or no at this point, but can be a little analog. Thank you. Before I put up my next question, would like to welcome our next panelist. I don't see him online here, but Dr. Shivesh Kumar. Is he here by any chance?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
So let me introduce you. Dr. Shivesh Kumar is a senior researcher and the team leader of the mechanics and control team at DFKI Robotics Innovation Center in Bremen. He has obtained his doctorate degree, Dr. Renat, from the Faculty of Mathematics and Computer Science at the University of Bremen in 2019 with summa cum laude. And he obtained his master's degree in control engineering, robotics, and applied informatics with specialization in advanced robotics from École Centrale de Nantes, France in 2015. He was also an Erasmus Mundus Heritage Scholar there. Priorly, he holds a Bachelor in Technology degree in Mechanical Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, India. And his research interest spans kinematics, dynamics, and control of serial, parallel, and hybrid robots with applications in the fields of exoskeletons, humanoids, rehabilitation, and industrial automation. So that sounds like a very academic lineup. I'm thanking you to have you here today, Mr. Shivesh.
Yeah, thank you for your kind introduction.
So I have actually a very short question for you. What is the role of artificial intelligence and robotics in digitalization? So if you can simplify it, because I can understand that you would have a very scientific answer to that. Yes.
Yes, so I think robotics and automation has a huge role in digitalization. I would say it's rather the next step to digitalization because, if you look at digitalization from a traditional computer science perspective, then it's mostly programs running on computers and how they can help us with different aspects of our lives. But eventually, the computers would evolve into, let's say, growing arms or legs. And this is what we call as robots, right? So we have robotic manipulators that are working in industry, in the automation sector. And eventually, nowadays, there is some nice amount of work coming from the area of legged robotics. So walking machines, for example, that could help in logistics and delivery, and many other applications. So I think eventually we will move away from digital programs running on static computers to robotic systems where this whole program is living like a real robot and helping us and coexisting with us in the shared human spaces. So I think it has huge impact.
Can you explain something about exoskeletons? That seems to be also...
Yeah, sure. So exoskeleton is one technology that is important in healthcare. So Germany, for example, has an aging population. The median age here is around 48 years. And many people suffer from stroke, for example. And we at DFKI have been working on developing exoskeleton technology, which can help people recover from stroke illnesses. So it's basically a system that one could wear, and it can assist then the therapists to train certain movements to the human again. So the exoskeleton helps the user do certain movements, and over the long training periods, the patients can recover from such such illnesses. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shivesh, for this enlightening explanation of exoskeletons. Interest me a lot because it seems to be a big subject in all kinds of industries. Robotics, healthcare, as you mentioned, seems to be a big thing. And from the next speaker, I would like to know more about how these things can differentiate between Germany and India. Let me welcome Dr. Rohit Menon. I think I saw him before. Yes. Hi. Dr. Rohit Menon began his career as an automation engineer for Siemens, where he crisscrossed the country to help factories. I imagine crisscrossed India or Germany?
Crisscrossed India, actually.
India.
I think I visited 16 states.
So good. I was guessing Germany, but crisscrossing India is much bigger deal than crisscrossing Germany. And to help factories deploy the latest automation and motion control solutions to improve their productivity. Thereafter, he did his master's in robotics from the Technical University of Dortmund. He did his internship and thesis on assistive robotics with the German Aerospace Center. And thereafter, he worked as a research engineer in robotics for 4 years with the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence in Bremen. Fantastic. So, this part of the question which I had placed to Dr. Shivesh, it goes a little bit also towards you. I would like to know, is robotics a suitable tool in Indian context? I mean, we talk about skills and labor and a lot of employment issues, and a lot of young generation finding different kind of employment. Are you going to replace young generation in India with robotics, and how would you react as a software engineer when you are designing such robots?
I would say we can pose the same question also in the German context.
Yes.
When it comes to, let's say, replacing internal combustion engines with electric motor driven cars. I think this question, when there is a new technology that disrupts the current technology, there's always this question, what will people do? But then that's also the question when we started having ATM machines. We were talking about, would it replace bank employees? I don't think it did. What it did was actually help improve the banking network in India. So similarly, yes, not just in India, even in Germany where labor is scarce, I think there is this fear that robotics can impact employment opportunities. But to then not embrace it means losing out on the next wave of what you call employment opportunities, I would say. Because, for example, we missed out on the industrial revolution in a way. And that is why when I was working for Siemens India for 4 years, what I saw was we were users of many technologies, but we were not the technology owners. It's basically the European multinational companies which were the technology owners for a lot of processes and factory automation. I think right now, considering if you look at, as I think one of the speakers mentioned, India, there are around 25,000 Indians working in, studying in Germany, and not just in Germany, in a lot of European countries. What you would see is they're very good at the software part. What I would say is it is better for us to learn, to embrace robotics and to be not just using them, but also to be providing it as a technology to others. That would make us be at the forefront of it than just being then playing catch up again.
Okay, thank you. I understand that. Like I said, if you from the audience, if you have questions to the speakers, please do put them in the chat, and we'll take them up as we go ahead. Before I again take the next speaker, I would like to introduce him first. That is Dr. Klaus Schmidt. He is he's also a dear friend of mine, known to me for a long time. He's a co-founder of Robert Bosch Venture Capital and Innovation Consultant at this point. Klaus co-founded Robert Bosch Venture Capital GmbH, RBVC, in 2007, which then became one of the most successful corporate venturing units in Europe. As a managing director of RBVC, Klaus was on the board member of several startups, and he continuously adapted the strategy of RBVC to the changing environment. In 2015, Klaus retired from his job at RBVC and continued to support the startups and to consult corporates in the realm of corporate innovation, strategies, and operations. Dr. Klaus Schmidt holds a PhD in physics from the University of Stuttgart and held several management positions in the industry prior to his job at RBVC, and is still on the board of several startups. Do I see Dr. Klaus? Oh, yes. Hi. So my question to you is more towards innovation, since you're also helping different startups, and I'm sure that since Robert Bosch also has some activity in India, you're aware of the Indian scenario. I would like to put to you a more global question, which connects to the keynote topic of today. We are listening to virtual reality, artificial intelligence, blockchain, agile technologies, and robotics, of course, belongs to that, data protection. How do you see the innovation in the real life as compared to the innovation in the digital life? Because when we do say digitalization, it's taking us up from putting a simple background picture of our screen here, which is very much digital as compared to in the past, as being analog, talking to your kid who might be just 5, telling him that stay away just now from the iPad, try to focus on reading a story, which is more analog. How do you, from your experience, say that the innovation has come into real life, which is reflected in the digital part?
Okay, thanks a lot, Sanjay, for the kind introduction, and it's a pleasure to be with the panel here. When it comes to digitization and innovation, this is a kind of a long story. It started about 15 years ago when we first realized that something is going wrong with our analog approach. And at that time, we also realized that digital innovation is something different compared to our analog innovation tools we had at the time. Most companies in the meantime realized that digital innovations are really disruptive. And disruptive meaning, in this case, not that they are just big steps forward, but they generate new business environments, new business processes, which is something that never happened in that, I'd say, in that power before. And so about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, the first larger companies realized that they have to do something different, and they started corporate venture capital. And at that time, we did it as well, and we all realized that corporate venture capital at least gives you a chance to look outside. It's still not innovation outside in, as many people at that time were just elaborating about. For that, you need something else. You have to go and find a way to get this kind of innovation into your company. And this is another step which requires different skills and so on. Now, that was the first start with, let's say, the digital technologies really pushed us in a new direction in the innovation management process. The drawback of this whole approach with corporate venturing was the enormous amount of money you need. And let's say mid-size and smaller companies are not capable of handling that amount of money. So what happened during the past, I would say 5 to 10 years now, is that new models came up. And you see now a whole bunch of new strategies on how companies can manage their external innovation. And this external innovation is the real, let's say, major impact on innovation processes because of digitization. The digitization process of the industry forces companies more and more to go outside and find ways to incorporate in their innovation processes external ideas and external capabilities. What you see now is, apart from corporate venturing, you see a whole bunch of tools like partnerships with startups, accelerator models which are shared between, let's say, professional accelerator management and the internal accelerators of corporates, and so on. So there's a huge, let's say, there's many other tools now are available. Many companies at the moment are playing around with that. Some of them are more successful, others are a little less successful or slower. That will take time. And especially in the German Mittelstand, you can read a lot in the newspaper that they are struggling with digitization. That is also part of their, let's say, non-compatibility with these external innovation processes. That will change. I'm absolutely convinced on that. And in the future, just to give you an outlook, you will see more and more companies working on it, what I would say a kind of a innovation management process, which completely comprises of all tools available for internal and external management and are handled as a holistic approach. Now, this is also let's say, a chance for cooperation between, let's say, different countries, because as these, let's say, local companies try to open up for external innovation, they can go everywhere, especially to countries where specific knowledge is available. And one of the speakers before just mentioned how many startups are available in India. And in the other way, how well settled some of the high-tech industry is there. And I was in India, by the way, in the past pretty often, so I know a little bit about it. And so there is a good chance that we find a kind of a cooperation between German and Indian companies in this realm. And I'm pretty sure there will be more concepts in the future.
Thank you, Klaus. You have a very nice background as compared to us in the Alps. So you must be somewhere located somewhere there.
This is part of digitization. It's all fake.
Okay. But you are living somewhere there.
I'm living close by to this picture. Yeah.
Okay. Good. And it must be a serene analog environment, looks like.
Yeah.
Because your connection was not so clean. That means digitalization has still to reach there in that part of the world. Looks like.
See, this is a little bit of the problem. We're living in a rural area in Germany. The internet is not as great as in the big cities.
We need internet, not internet. Okay, so before I put my next question, I would like to welcome Mr. Amit Shah. He's from Constance. He's an adjunct professor for industrial IoT and innovation at HDWG Constance, University of Constance. Amit is a tech entrepreneur, having successfully built disruptive businesses in India as well as Germany. He lives in Constance, Germany since last 20 years. Amit is adjunct professor for industrial IoT in Constance. He actively supports corporates and startups in their digital and connected businesses, as well as actively promoting cross-border DACH India business since last 5 years. And Amit is also supporting our organization called Indian Entrepreneurs Association in Munich, which was founded last year, where we are helping Indian as well as German startups between Indo-German space. So we have set up a small incubator in Munich with Amit's help. And Amit, I have a question for you. Thank you for being here today on the panel, finding time for that. it's more about like we heard about the different facets of digitalization, including artificial intelligence, robotics, etc. So what are the advantages of deploying artificial intelligence in industry? Do you have any success stories which you can share with us from Germany or India? And how Germany can help India in that space, or India can contribute to Germany? Since you're a professor, you must be having a number of students from different spaces who are in this domain. And would you like to share something with us on this?
Thank you, Sanjay. Lots of questions. Let me probably start from the technical, from the technology standpoint, and then take discussion to the business side of things. So when you look at technology standpoint, you look at digitization, you look at digital transformation. We heard earlier in the event that we are not talking about Industry 4.0, but we are talking about Industry 5.0. But one should actually think that when you want to do Industry 4.0 and 5.0, you need to have Industry 0.0, 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 behind you, which means that the digital capabilities of an organization must already be there in order that you actually can tap benefits of Industry 4.0 or even of 5.0. So when we look at artificial intelligence, we look at robotics, or we look at exoskeletons, they are all meant to improve the efficiency of existing processes, existing systems, existing machines. If you look at automotive component manufacturer whom we had helped a few years back. So when we went there, they actually had absolutely no systems in place. The whole tracking was done with papers, physical piece of papers. So digitizing that meant you had to jump 2 or 3 generations of maturity, which was kind of a challenge. This is what we are seeing also happening in Germany. So even when we are talking about digital transformation, many organizations from the shop floor, from the manufacturing standpoint, I'm not talking from the IT systems, I'm talking from the manufacturing setup standpoint, are quite behind that evolution cycle. And this is something that also is the case for India. We in India are also not really very modernized, not very automatized plants, automatized systems. So if you look at it from that standpoint, Germany and India have a lot of commonalities when you attack a digital transformation problem. The challenges certainly are a little bit different, but more or less there is a lot of commonality. And we are seeing that jumping generations sometimes can be of advantage. We know 30 years back, we actually did not have any real telephone connections in India. But today we are the largest mobile network subscriber base in the whole world, even higher than that of China. Why? Because what we have managed, as India has managed to actually supersede a couple of maturity phases in telecom evolution and directly go for mobile networking. So if you look at that and think about digital transformation, digitization of factories, of shop floors, of plants, there is a huge opportunity in Germany as well as in India to use today's modern technology and enable those plants to work efficiently, have the benefits of digital and modern technology, and increase production efficiency, increase product quality, reduce dependency on human error, etc. pp. Reduction of human error, reduction of rejects, increasing product quality is what the real benefit of artificial intelligence in a digital transformation in plant manufacturing perspective is. Why? Because if I have a particular plant that is, let's say, producing an automotive component, I can install a camera on the production line. I can take pictures. Today's cameras are really very great, can deliver very high resolution pictures. So I can take those pictures. I can run an AI engine and see that, okay, this product that is now being manufactured, is it good quality or bad quality? Should it actually go in reject, or should it go in packaging? Now this previously had to be done by human, was cumbersome, was difficult, was slow. Now AI actually brings in efficiency, AI brings in accuracy, and AI reduces cost. So AI, yes, certainly useful. Using robotics, certainly useful. Same efficiency can be seen by that. Exoskeleton per se is for helping human have a more comfortable workplace. Now, this is a part of digitization, but this is a part of digitization where the human capital comes into picture. That human capital also is becoming important. A particular shop floor manufacturing guy is also an asset, and we have now to think, hey, what is it that can be done to ensure that he does not get back pain, or he does not have health problems if he's doing the same work repetitive over the years. And that's where exoskeletons can be certainly brought in, can certainly help. So digitization, digital transformation is to be done meaningfully. You have to look at the tools, technologies. It is available at your disposal. See what you can actually achieve with the existing tool set, and implement it meaningfully. So when I say implement meaningfully, just bringing in a laptop, bringing in an automated system, bringing in digital networks in plant does not help, or iPads. You also have to train your people. You also have to train the team and people who are actually also going to use all the systems. So I could bring in an iPad and replace paper. But if I'm not training my people how to use that iPad, it will not help. So I may be able to replace paper by a digital technology, but I may not be able to use it effectively if I'm not taking care of the human capital part. I have to take them in the whole process. I have to weave them in the process. I have to ensure that they also actually are aware of what is actually happening and how you actually can use these technologies to make the best use of what is available to us per se. So in some, a great opportunity from Indian standpoint, from German standpoint, commonalities, there are several. Can we use what we have learned here in Germany for India? Yes, we can. And what can we do from India for Germany? Of course, Tech Mahindra was here. You have to see, hey, Tech Mahindra can actually also help. How can it help? It helps actually then in solving problems that German industry faces by helping them in digital transformation. So I guess it's a two-way autobahn that we have between India and Germany. We certainly have something to offer to Germans and German industry, and we have a lot to learn from them. And I guess we will keep learning. I guess this digitization journey is not going to end today. As Klaus just mentioned, it started 15 years back, and I think it's going to go on for another 15 years before we will start seeing the real results and the real performance. And I'm excited to see what we all can do in this journey as we learn and discover more and more. So okay. Thanks, Sanjay. Back to you.
Thank you, Amit. We have a very time constraint, but I have a last question, which is like an focus on. Before I do that, I would like to introduce the next speaker, Mr. Arvind Sinha. You're here. Welcome, sir. Arvind Sinha is an expert in the field of digital technology and finance, providing consultancy to banks, insurance companies, and stock exchanges for its digital transformation. He is with Atos International as the Vice President, leading the Banking and Financial Services Department. He has provided consultancy to almost all the leading international banks and bringing latest technologies of cloud, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. An electrical engineer by education, he completed his MBA from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and further a certification in FinTech area from University of Oxford, UK. He has also completed a diploma in advanced computing. He's an avid traveler, having visited more than 40 countries. He claims that photography runs in his blood, and he turned professional in year 2003. Welcome, sir. So I would like to know from you that since you are in the fintech financial services, sounds like also a very current subject at this point. One is the medical thing, which we heard a little bit, industry and data protection, as well as financial services. N number of Indians want to invest in different parts of the world, and I have seen apps which have come up in this area. Do you see as a challenge in digitalization that on one hand you can offer those fintech services very easily, I presume, and on the other hand it's more intransparent for the user, or it's becoming more transparent? Of course, the ease of use has become strong. And how do you target the different age groups which are here? Like in Germany, there's an aging population, so people are very conservative. They cannot just invest by a click of a button. Whereas in India, you can just, yes, I want to do this and that, and then the service can be placed. How do you see that as a challenge, or is it a learning curve there for us?
Yeah, see, as we all know, that any business that always gives us challenge, and when we start solving those challenges, then that is our business model. So when we say that, okay, there are certain different kind of challenges to be solved in Germany, completely different in India, that is, of course, that is the reason the business models change. Now, demographically, Germany is different. As you said, the population is aging, and it takes, I mean, you really cannot teach old horse a new trick every day. But younger population in India, they are pretty much techno-savvy. Now, the whole challenge here is that, or rather, I would say diversity between Germany and India would be, in Germany, I would still classify this entire market as a single market. Say their process maturity wise, of course, as some of the speaker earlier said, that Germany is still not there where India has already achieved that kind of destination. And I would, in the same context, I would also quote the chairman of Walmart, who, when came to India to buy Flipkart, he said that the technology that Flipkart is using is possibly 10 years ahead of what they are using in the US. So the same goes between Germany and India too. But the diversity in India is really huge. One section of the society, they are very tech savvy. Everything is on their fingertips. They take use of all the modern technology globally, because now there are no boundaries so far as technology is concerned. But on the other hand, we have certain set of other people who even lack the basic education. So how shall we teach them? So therefore, this gives completely different set of divergent market areas that need to be covered. And when we talk about the finance on top of it, then it creates kind of a chaos, a big chaos. We say that, okay, banks like ICICI, HDFC, and all these people, they have deployed robotics, they have deployed artificial intelligence, they have deployed RegTech, FinTech, whatever, all this technology. But on the other hand side, we also see that people do not have common banking. That is where this Jan Dhan Yojana and all these things came up just about a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. So what it took so much time, these are the challenges. So of course, one size cannot fit all. We cannot use the same business model in Germany, same thing in India. In India, we'll have to really break it down to the individual market segment. In Germany, market is more or less matured. We can deploy just one business model there, but in India, we'll have to really compartmentalize. On top of it, people are taking benefit of digitalization. That is for sure, always welcome, but we are not as much aware about the risk of it. Anything which is digital is hackable. And we know that if you give, not me, but I'm not that expert in network security, but if you give someone your phone just for about 10 seconds, then your entire data is gone. They can mimic it on their own laptop, on the network. It can go into the dark web. So as important it is for us to educate, teach, train, modify our business processes to take care of these digital technologies, so is important to look at the security aspects. We play games and we always say, okay, at the time of download, do you accept the terms and condition? Tell me who on the earth has read entire terms and condition and says, yes, I accept. We just say accept and then we go ahead. That creates problems for us. So somebody talked about the GDPR also. All these things emanate from there itself. So on one hand side, sorry to be digressing slightly on the topic, but on the one side, we say digitalization, it is doing wonders to the world, making factories smarter, making people more convenient, increasing productivity, that is fine. But at the same time, when we say that 97% of the internet traffic goes into the dark web, and only 3% in the whole of the world that we see over the browsers, over the internet, and it is really mind-boggling. So we have to see the benefit of digitalization, it gets to the entire population. At the same time, we have to be aware about the threat also. And when we talk about the financial transactions, you know, that World Bank transaction of about $1 billion from World Bank to Bangladesh that were diverted to somewhere else. So, I mean, digitalization, very good, but let's be aware about the pitfalls also. Let's secure our house to keep it in order. And when it is financial transaction, that is where all the action is all the time. It is all about the numbers. So I see the challenges when we go to our clients to convince them about improving their digital processes. At the same length and breadth, in the same sentence, I always talk them about the security part of it. So, of course, I know that I cannot answer this entire question just in maybe a couple of minutes, but I deliberately wanted to put another aspect of it about the security, because everybody spoke about the benefit, I understand, but security is something that we cannot afford to compromise.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, sir, Mr. Arvind Sinha. I have one last point before we come to the end of this session. I would request all the speakers to put on their cameras because we want to take a group photo quickly before we end. Yes, Mr. Amit Shah is still remaining. Please put on your camera if possible. My last, rather not a question, but comment would be, because we took this panel discussion a little differently than we had originally planned, because such a vast knowledge of panelists sitting here, and it's difficult to put a discussion which it can be a discussion as such. And as compared to physical panels, we are sitting opposite to each other, which is a very good benefit on one side, because we can see each other in your own eyes, and then discuss. So it's like a real proper panel discussion. I know that it was not a discussion as such, and I would like to initiate an exchange where people can actually put in their questions, take your contacts, and maybe take it further so that they can ask direct questions to you and exchange with you. We started with the thing that we wanted to do appreciation, promotion, opportunities as our main thing. And I heard a lot of benefits from about digitalization. I heard about the differentiation between India and Germany. Both seem to be benefiting in one or the other way. There are security issues, data protection issues, as well as I also heard about the technology issues, like Dr. Klaus sitting there without proper connection. And in both countries, I presume, and Mr. Klaus Meyer, who reiterated, the way of how the human resources are acting to digitization, how you should train your people there before you make a strategy. Mr. Mukul Dhani also reiterated that yes, everything is positive, and of course you have to take an aspect in considering digitalization in the industrial part, where you are designing, engineering, and integrating in your own life. And Mr. Dr. Shivesh Kumar and Dr. Rohit Menon, who technically are versatile in their aspect of saying that yes, all different applications are very well, but it is unavoidable, and you will be able to not replace basically the man skills, but you'll be actually enhancing those by means of digitalization. So in case you have any final comment, please share with us now about this panel discussion or this panel theme on digitalization and benefits to Indo-German economic relationship. I don't see Mr. Amit Shah yet on video. So any comment from your side before we end this session?
I think we should create a group here in the sense that I understand that I learned a lot today, no doubt about it. And if we have email IDs of everyone, possibly we can either create a WhatsApp group or we can create a Google group where we can exchange our data or our ideas. I do have a lot of things which is going on in my mind where one of the panelists or many of them can support me or I can support them in many other ways. So I think that would be a good idea to be on the common ground.
The initiators of this German-Indian Business Summit have launched a website which is going to be launched later on. I don't want to be, precursoring and already announcing that, but we are going to learn about that a little later. So let us put our thumbs up, and I'll make a screenshot if possible for this panel discussion. Thank you for being with us. I'm the only guy who cannot do this. Hold on, one more picture, please. Thanks a lot. Thanks all of you. Have a fantastic time and much success to all your endeavors and whatever you're doing, not only in digitalization, to your success stories. Thank you.
Thank you
and
so
over
much.
to Pallavi.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sanjay, for moderating it so efficiently. And thank you to all the panelists for sharing their expert opinions. And thank you, Mr. Sinha, for highlighting, for treading with caution, essentially. We cannot only be enthusiastic, we also have to be careful. I completely agree with you. So this brings us to the next part of our summit today, wherein we will have two very interesting startups sharing their journey with us. To begin with, I'll invite Dr. Mohammad Faizan. He is the Managing Director and founder of ConfNet Solutions GmbH, which is located in Kiel. And as I understand, they have recently opened another office in Hamburg. Dr. Faizan has been a lecturer and a program manager of Master Information Engineering at the University of Applied Sciences, Kiel. Now he is also a guest lecturer at the University of Applied Sciences, Kiel. Due to his passion to work with young students and interest in networking and management, after finishing his PhD, he got an opportunity to work as the Head of International Affairs at Open Campus, Kiel. Since 2015, he is delivering lectures at the University of Applied Sciences, Kiel, and also holding a couple of valuable positions and responsibilities. Dr. Faizan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pallavi, for a nice introduction. My name is, and thank you for Consul General of India team and Dr. Rajesh Mishra and Dr. Shazia to organizing such kind of nice event or nice initiative. So today I'm going to talk or tell you about my digital entrepreneur journey, which started in 2014 when I was PhD student. So that time, I was also president of Indian Student Association that time. So what I noticed that a lot of Indian students are coming and looking for internships and part-time jobs. Parallelly, industry was also looking for young or skilled IT engineers, but there was a gap. And that because of that gap, they were not connected. So what I thought, why not we should create a kind of network, or we should make a bridge which could fill this industry academia partnership, or which could fill the gap of this existing gap. So from there, this idea came into my mind to build this ConfNet Solutions. ConfNet meaning is comfortable network, which is started in 2015. 2015 officially, but as I mentioned, my journey started in 2014, and it took me a year to get registered, to get permission, because a lot of means when we are talking about digitization, so a lot of digitization was missing. Because of that, the bureaucracy took so long to make it happen. But finally, I registered my company in 2015 to help the international students. And when I was looking for funding, so that time I asked for funding from the university, and university said, we have chance to pitch this idea of integrating the international students into German job market. That was my concept, and I applied for 10,000 euros. But when I talked to the authority and to concerned person, they said it's really good idea and it is in demand. So we need such kind of idea to work on. So they said in 3 months later, we have chance to apply for more big funding, which is like 150K funding. So I applied that funding, and luckily I got it for 3 years. And that time I started this company. And with this help of this government funding, I started to integrate the international students into German job market. Can you see my screen, Pallavi? Because I can go to the next.
I can see, but it's not in the presentation mode.
Okay, sorry. I can make it. Now is it? Slideshow. Okay, so I will continue like that. So yeah, so this was my journey started. The CompNet meaning is comfortable network. So we created this comfortable network between industry and academia. So with this, with the help of data, as I said, we started this, and then 2015 we registered, and these are like, we focused on these industries. We developed solution for banking, automotive, retail, e-commerce, and these are the, we provided services to these industries, and with the help of these services, we also build our own product. So we are providing services to software development, for software development, IT infrastructure, digital transformation, AI and ML. And our main focus was employee providing IT resources to different companies, which was like our main initiative to integrate the international students to German job market. And when we were providing the services to different industries, parallelly our employees were free and all these things. So we tried to build our own products. So we built some products like e-visitor management to make the industry digital. So what happened when we, when we go to the industries in Germany, still you have to make an entry on paper or in register. So we made it a digital logbook, which is helping to check in, check out, make entry, and to give the frequent solution or frequent digital solution. This product will give a good impression of the company to the visitors for providing them an easy digital solution, which will minimize the check-in, check-out time. And also solution will help the management to get easy insight of how many visitors visit the company and on daily basis. So this is like one of the product which we developed when we were providing solutions to the services to the company. And another product was our AI and this AI-based solution, which was where we can also read the number plates of the company. So when we are also planning to integrate this digital solution with e-visitor management, sometimes company wants the visited vehicle data as well. So we are integrating this solution as well with e-visitor management. So this is another solution, and another solution which we have is Tracer. It is traffic analyzer, which will tell you the which traffic is going, how light motor vehicle or heavy motor vehicle traffic, and what how many number of traffic vehicles are passing on which days, what are the timings, and in which time there are high traffic. So if there are schools or colleges or some offices, they can reroute. So this product have application in the government sector. So, and another thing which I was talking, the digital, which we recently built, the is QRestro, which is recently we built it in and implemented in India, but now we want to successfully implement it in India. And Lemon Tree and Radisson Blu are our partner company existing client, and we are making replica of this solution here for the German market to make this hospitality or this gastronomy industry digital. So what is QRestro? QRestro.
Faizan, sorry to interrupt your presentation. Your presentation is not moving forward. We can
sorry.
Second slide.
Shall I stop and start again?
Let's try that, because we can only see your second slide.
Okay. Now
not yet.
Okay, sorry. I think now it's fine.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Sorry. So QRestro, so this is our first digital solution which we already implemented in Indian market and successfully implemented and successfully got some clients like this Lemon Tree and other hotels and restaurant chains. And now we are planning to implement this digital solution for German market. So what is QRestro? QRestro is a digital menu, solution to order, pay, and get feedbacks and analytics and everything all together. So how does it work? So when you have digital menu, for example, you go to the restaurant and then you order from the digital menu. There is a QR code. We build a QR code which will help you to, we can scan with that QR code, we can scan it, and then everything comes on your mobile, and then you can order the food and you can pay and get the feedback and also analytics. So this is the way how QRestro works. And next is for how it works. So you can scan it when you go to the restaurant or hotel and anywhere. You see there are sometimes you have to order, and when you are in the hotel room, you have to wait for the waiter or someone you have to call for the reception. But what we have, we build a QR code which will be pasted on the table or on the stool next to your bed, and then you can scan it, and the whole menu will be on your mobile or on your device. So you can select it and order it and pay it, and then it is ready, and you can pay and give your feedback as well online. So now next thing comes, how we are going, what is the implementation of this, implementation possibilities of QRestro. So this we could implement in QSR to food court, restaurant to fine dine, cafe, pub, cinemas, clubs, hotels, anywhere. So this has implementation, and we have very easy and quick configurable solution which we can easily implement in their to the client or restaurants. So now next thing comes problems and solutions statement, which will explain you how and why, how we can how this digital solution can make our life easier. So let's come to the question of this. When we go to the customer at the door and restaurant greeter with a single menu. When we have single menu, they cannot change with time, and when we have a small restaurant, they cannot change menu every day because they have printed. So what we can do with QRestro, with our digital solution, they can change menu every day. Next question comes limited number of printed menus and waiters, for example. So when we have limited number of waiters and printed menus, we have to wait sometime, and that sometime, you know, when customer have to wait for a longer time, they feel uncomfortable or they have feel like they don't feel comfortable, and that is not good for the restaurant. So in this way, they can order it and order it online as well from their mobile. And next thing, printed menu limitations. Sometimes even you have quite good number of waiters, but you don't have enough menus. So what you can do, you have to wait for that. But with our solution, you don't need to wait. You can take your mobile and scan it, and then you can order it. Next thing is special dishes. In Germany or in Europe, we have this special thing when you have food of the day or some kind of special offer. So they are still using blackboard outside of their restaurant, and they are writing what is the special food of the day or menu of the day or mama food or something like that. So they are putting outside. So what we can do, we can easily implement this solution, and they can easily add their new menu or new dish in this dish in their menu card, a digital menu card. For example, next question comes subsequent ordering again. When we are ordering subsequently again and again, sometimes you have to wait for a longer time for the waiter. But with this digital solution, QRestro, you don't need to wait for a longer time. Just you can order again, and with this, order will go to your bucket, and then at the end you can pay with the digital solution. And with this, we can get the digital payment and pay the digitally payment via Apple Pay, PayPal, credit card, or anything. And also we can give e-feedback, which is very important feature. Sometimes some people doesn't want to stay in the restaurant or all, so they can give feedback on the way to their home, way back to their home. So yeah. So next slide is next is QRestro benefits. The business benefits. When you implement QRestro, you have unlimited menus option. You can save money and increase revenue. E-feedback, you can get feedback is very important for the customers, to grow your business. So you will have e-feedback, which you can get it online, and handle peak hours. Sometimes, when there are peak hours, there are a lot of customers are there. So in these peak hours, you can use our QRestro, this code, and then you can easily handle as many clients as you can, and you can get more orders, and you have all the facilities. It is not hard to implement as well digitally. So QRestro onboarding takes less than 24 hours because we already built a solution for that, and this is like ready to use. And it is less than 24 hours we can build as per the customer requirement. And in this fully functional onboarding digital menu, you have very negligible investment. So in this way, it is very with less investment, you can increase your revenue. So this is one of our recently built digital product solution for German market, which we are going to implement to make life easier. And especially in COVID time, people are using avoiding to touch the menu, touch the pan, and even you have to fill when we go to the restaurant these days, so we have to fill our details and also other information which we have possibility to fill that application form as well digitally. So this is our recently built solution which we are going to implement in the
Faizan, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Our time is almost over, so if you can quickly wrap up.
Yes. So these are our client and partners details, and thanks Pallavi, and thanks everyone for the time. So this is short. It is our recently built solution in digital side. And sorry for inconvenience because I don't know what happened. The screen was not working with the click.
No worries. Thank you so much for your time, Faizan. And I'm sorry that 15 minutes were not enough to know about your journey, the beginning, how it started. But I'm sure a lot of budding startups who are here with us as participants today are feeling inspired and a promising product line, I must say, please leave your email ID in the chat
Yes.
box. And if people want to connect with you later, they can get in touch with you with the help of your email ID.
People can get in touch. I will drop my email address and they can reach me anytime. I would love to help them if possible. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. This brings us to our next startup presenter today, Ms. Jana Kohler. Ms. Jana Kohler is the co-founder and CEO of Mitra, a Berlin-based startup. Mitra is an online platform that caters to the needs of international professionals who want to start a career in Germany. It was founded in 2017. The company began as a consulting firm for Indo-German projects and has since developed into an online business. Jana has extensive experience in HR sector and has been promoting Indo-German business exchange for over a decade now. She has lived in India herself and is co-founder and former chairperson of the DART Indie Alumni Network, one of the first German-Indian alumni networks. Jana, we are keen to listen to the journey of Mitra.
Thank you, Pallavi. I hope I'm audible.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So I'll also try to share my screen. Just a second. Is it visible for everyone?
Just give it, yes.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, yeah, thank you, Pallavi, for the introduction, and thank you to you and of course the Consulate General of India in Hamburg for inviting me to this German-Indian Business Summit. I've also been following some of the discussion and presentations today and found it very interesting. A few of you may already know me. I think Mitra has been there since several years now, and Pallavi, you already mentioned a bit about what we are doing. And what I would like to talk about is our transformation, because a lot of you probably know us as a consulting company. That's how you may have come across us in the past years, and we have gone through a slight change this year. And we have actually changed from an offline to a more kind of online business. And I think we've discussed a lot about digitization today. And I think this is a good example of how digitization can take place. And yeah, I'll just give you some insights. And I would say it's definitely an Indo-German startup story, because that's how it all started. As Pallavi already mentioned, I started my kind of journey with India, or in the Indo-German context, 10 years ago as a student in India, actually. And when I went to India back then, I was a business student, and back then there was not that much attention on India from the German side. So a lot of people were asking me, so what are you going to do in India, you know, in terms of business? Why are you going to India? There were not that many people familiar with the market. And that's something I've been aiming to change ever since then, because I see a lot of synergies, as I think all of you do. I mean, that's what the focus lies on today as well. And I'm really happy to see such events happening. In 2017, me and my co-founder Christoph Senft, a few of you may also know him, started this company. And we started Mitra because we felt that there is a kind of gap between India and Germany when it comes to collaboration. And my co-founder Christoph, he has also lived in India for several years. He was head of the German Academic Exchange Service office in Pune. I myself, after studying in India, I've worked for Volkswagen for some time. I did a lot of recruitment in India, and later as a consultant, also a lot of IT projects. And we met through this Indo-German alumni network, which Pallavi also mentioned in my introduction, and felt that, you know, this is really a gap we would like to close. We would like to make collaboration between India and Germany a bit easier and help people find the right partners in business and also for universities. So that's how we started. Ever since then, business has been very good for us. We did a lot of great consulting projects, helped a lot of multinational corporates recruit in India and in Germany and start their kind of projects. And we've also been doing a lot of career workshops for universities here in Germany who have a lot of incoming students from India. And what we realized over the years was that, you know, we got so many people, really well-qualified professionals from India who were approaching us and had a lot of questions about visas, about how to find jobs and so on. And at some point we were getting so many questions that we were not able to handle them anymore, because we do have a lot of visibility on LinkedIn and also on YouTube by now. And we were just not able to help all these people approaching us. And we also realized that we were getting a lot of contact requests, not only from people in India, but also other countries at some point, because we were collaborating a lot with official institutions and universities, as I mentioned. And that really caused us some headaches because we felt that, you know, there's a big need on the employer side in Germany. That's why we were doing these big recruitment projects, mainly in IT and engineering. But somehow there's kind of a missing link between employers here and talents abroad, not just in India. But in India, I see that there's such a big potential for recruitment. And that's why I think it's a very interesting kind of market. So we started seeing this in 2019 and felt that, you know, we have to do something about this. So we started giving some workshops for job seekers, trying to share our industry insights and so on. But we felt that, you know, this is really not scalable. We cannot help a lot of people with this. And this brings me to 2020. I can also share a few pictures actually. Here you see my co-founder, some team members, some great events we attended, also a few of my fellow GINSAP ambassadors. Some of them also held a talk today. I think Juliana was here earlier. So just a few insights. It has been a really great journey. And then in 2020, Corona happened, right? I think all of you felt a big impact of that. I'm sure I've also heard part of this in the presentations here. Corona has been a big hit for all of us. It has really affected business. And for us, we lost a lot of our consulting business in this time. And looking back at that now, of course, it was very challenging, but it was also very helpful because it finally forced us to focus on a more scalable approach. And what we did in this time in March and April and so on was that we fully focused on how we can bring added value to the people who want to come to Germany or people who want to work here, and how we can share our international recruitment insights with as many people as possible. And we started looking into a lot of numbers because when you look at numbers, you can see that it has been really going very well for India and Germany in the past years. There has been so much migration, like so many students and employees coming to Germany from India, also from other countries like the US and Russia. But when you look at numbers, you can see a 17% increase of students and employees, professionals moving from Germany to India. And I'm always happy when I see these numbers. I think this is great for both countries. We can see that these synergies are actually kind of working out in practice, but I think we can still do more. And we looked at these numbers and we were like, okay, so there's so much going on. There are so many people coming to Germany, but still, why are there so many people struggling with this process? And we started to ask people, and these are just some parts. We did a big survey recently where we asked more than 200 persons about their experience of coming to Germany. And these are just a few statements. I think a lot of you have come across these statements already. People saying, I've sent out so many applications, but I keep getting rejections. The visa process is so demotivating. Bureaucracy is so hard. It's so tough when you don't speak German. So that's what people were telling us. And we started to understand that, okay, it's a very confusing process. It's very tough if you don't speak German. Also, the biggest challenge for job seekers here is to actually find a job opening. And here I really want to point out the people we were speaking to are mainly people from IT and engineering backgrounds. So people that are highly needed on the German job market, even in times of Corona. I mean, we've seen digitization happening everywhere. But still, a lot of these really, really skilled people also struggle with finding a job. And we asked them, so what would be, you know, your kind of biggest wish, if you could make a wish, looking back at this phase of relocation now, what would be your wish? What would have made your life easier? And what most of them told us was that, you know, I would prefer to have one point of contact, like a friend who can actually help me with everything and gives me kind of honest feedback, because we also have people who have a kind of profile that doesn't have a lot of chances on the German job market, but these people probably invest a lot of money in language classes, job seeker visas, and so on. Although right now, probably the job market here is not ready to absorb them. There are not enough opportunities. So this would be good to know before you invest a lot of time, right? So that's the kind of feedback we got from people. And we felt that, okay, there are so many great service providers out there. I mean, there are a lot of relocation companies. I know that there are also a lot of recruitment companies and also a lot of great employers who are already recruiting on an international basis and help their talents with relocation. But apparently it's still a big headache for a lot of people. And we've already heard that particularly when it comes to India and Germany, there are still some visa hurdles, right? And some bureaucratic processes that are challenging. And that's what we are aiming to solve. So we looked at people's wishes and we're trying to make it come true, still in the process. But we started building an online platform, and our aim is to create one point of contact for all kinds of queries related to starting a career in Germany. We provide a lot of very reliable information. We work closely with official institutions here, and we have started creating this platform where you can basically book everything you need to start your career here, or everything you need in your relocation process. And it will be fully digital. I mean, as far as this is possible in a visa process, for instance, there are manual things to be done, but I think we can increase transparency, for instance. And we also do recruitment. This is the other part. So for international professionals, we are aiming to be this one-stop point of contact, this one platform which provides guidance with everything. And then for employers in Germany, because I mean, that's where we have a lot of insights, a lot of expertise, right? We provide access to this community of great professionals because we have very good connects with universities in Germany, but also across the globe, particularly in India, where I see a very, very high potential. And we give employers the option to post job ads and also help them with pre-assessment and of course with relocation. So we are aiming to be this one-stop platform. And for those of you who speak Hindi, you definitely know the term Mitra. It might have crossed your mind that, okay, what's the meaning of this brand name? And actually this brand name came into being before we moved or changed our purpose, right? So Mitra means friend in Hindi, and that's what we are aiming to create with this platform. And I think this is a more scalable approach to making recruitment between India and Germany, but also other non-EU countries and Germany easier. And we are trying to help more people with this because we felt that our manual approach was not that scalable. And yeah, we are right in the middle of building this. The mission is already there. The platform is already there. We have a nice, very international team here in Berlin right now, and are sharing a lot of our insights, also a lot on YouTube, a lot on articles. We do regular meetups where we have about 30, 40 participants every second week. And of course, employers can always make use of this great community. Right now, our community is still growing. We have a bit more than 4,000 international professionals. It's growing every day. And we do have a lot of people with IT and engineering background, which I think is mainly due to our great connects in India, where a lot of these skilled professionals come from. I think our strengths are really kind of people with academic background, young professionals. That's also why we have a lot of connects here in Germany, 50% of people who are here in Germany already, because as I mentioned, we work a lot with universities here in Germany as well and try to get international students to get better placement in companies here, because that's, I think, a very big potential. I mean, there are, I think, more than 25,000 or almost 25,000 students from India coming to Germany every year. I hope there will also be more going from Germany to India, because I can recommend that. But I think we need to make use of this potential. And it's a great potential for German employers, because we have a need for IT skills and engineering skills here in Germany, right? Yeah, so that's the kind of mission we are working on right now. We've had a lot of great customers and collaboration partners in the past, or still have, as you can see, a lot of great universities, also a lot of big companies we have worked with so far. And of course, yeah, we are also ambassadors of the German-Indian Startup Exchange Program. As I said, we are now creating a platform which is kind of open for professionals from across the globe and gives employers the option to recruit the best talent from across the globe, not just in Germany. But I would say that India will always remain our special focus, because that's where I see a lot of synergies. And that's why it's so great to have this event today. Yeah, and this was just a very, very quick overview. I think there would be so much more to tell about how we went through this change, because there are a lot of entrepreneurial stories, of course, behind that, a lot of things I have learned personally. Yeah, we don't have that much time today. But anyways, if you are an employer and are looking for talents, please feel free to reach out to me. Also, of course, if you see any other synergies with what we are doing, if you want to relocate to Germany, if you're active in the same environment as we are, please reach out to me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to connect with everyone here in this community and to jointly foster Indo-German exchange in the future. So yeah, with this, back to you, Pallavi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Mitra, and thank you so much, Jana. It's one and the same thing for me.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
So that's excellent. I know, like Faizan and like ConfNet, the journey of startup, it's so fascinating that we can simply sit here and listen to all your experiences. And as I said, it would be very inspiring for all our participants who are budding entrepreneurs or who are budding startups. So please leave your email ID in the chat box so that people can get in touch with you. It's also given here on the screen.
Yes.
So yeah, that's brilliant. And you mentioned, Jana, that you have learned a lot due to this pandemic.
Yes.
But I think that applies to all of us, to everyone in this world, and that is what binds us also together, right?
Yes.
Because this pandemic has been the biggest teacher that at least I have seen in my lifetime, for sure.
Yes.
It has forced all of us to take a pause and take a relook into our lives, our work, our business, what matters, and how we can make it more meaningful.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing your journey and how Mitra could pivot, their business in such a short span of time.
Thank you
Pallavi. Once again to all this. Pleasure. Thank you to all the speakers once again. Now I would like to invite Dr. Rajesh Mishra, actually the man behind bringing all of us together. He's the initiator of a German-Indian Business Summit. He's the president of Shaktya and vice president of GINCO, Global India Network Community. He is also heading a private school, Dr. Mishra Academy, based in Bremen. And if I can take the liberty of saying that Dr. Rajesh Mishra is actually, personifies the soft power that India has to offer to this world. So, Dr. Mishra, we are keen to listen to you.
Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you very much. Dear Mr. Madan Lal Raigar, sir, Consul General, CGI Hamburg, Mr. Gulshan Dhingra, sir, Mrs. Pallavi Mishra ji, Mr. Tambe ji, friends, Dr. Sajia ji, eminent speakers, supporters, sponsors, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all of your valuable time and supports to making this online second German-Indian Business Summit 2020 a great success. I hope there will be many such events in the future. GIBS, German-Indian Business Summit, is the voice of German-Indian business. And main objective of GIBS are to promote India between Germany and link between German and Indian companies, institutions, and to recognize and boost the business leaders, entrepreneurs, and organizations operating in the Indo-German business realm. I'm happy to announce that the next year we are introducing awards to recognize the efforts of individuals and companies as a whole. The awards are Indian Business Leaders Award, Best Indo-German Innovative Award, Best Indo-German Entrepreneur Award, the Women Entrepreneur Award, Young Entrepreneur Award, Under 18s, and many more. We are looking forward to your guidance, supports, and feedback in the respective areas in your expertise. And now I would like to request our CG sir, Mr. Riger sir, to launch GIBS website. Sir, is a mute, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rajiv. It is really the work you have been doing single-handedly, the event in February and now, and so many other cultural and business event, despite the fact that you have to do it from the scratch and collect all those keynote speakers around the globe, get a good moderator like Pallavi, and we don't have to ask more than this. Thank you. So thank you so much for having this business summit organizing from the scratch. We had one in February that was very physical event, and it was in Hochschule Bremen, moderated by Dr. Shazia Ulber. And due to Corona, now we are having it virtual one, but we learn every day. And I found that in physical event, we could have people like 60, 70 or maybe more at one place from there. But the constant we have is like, we have to arrange, they have to come from the vicinity only. They can't come from, far south from Germany or other countries, or even out of our consular jurisdiction also sometime. But this virtual summit has broken all those boundaries. And everyone from India, and all the veterans, they could get connected, CEOs of the companies, startups, the young bloods who started startups, they could join, they could share their experience, like Faizan and Ms. Kohler. So I think this is the new normal. And to aid further in your Jinko's cape and to aid, to boost the efforts being made by Dr. Mishra and others, this summit, German-India Business Summit, has now prepared a web page, which we are going to launch today. And this, I'm really happy that this will provide a lot of information to not only the German, but the either side of the people who really want to enhance the economic and business relations between India and Germany. And this web page for GIBS, as it has become sort of a regular feature for the consulate. This is the second one, and we will have many more in future. It is hence my pleasure to inaugurate today the official website of German-India Business Summit. And the main objective, Dr. Mishra says, of GIBS are to promote linkages between Germany and Indian companies and institutions, and to recognize and boost the business leaders, entrepreneurs, and organizations operating in the realm of Indo-German businesses. So we can have a glimpse of the website now, Pallavi and Dr. Mishra, if it's possible. Thank you.
Sir. Can you see the screen share, sir?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This is our home page. The last year, German-India Business Summit is also mentioned here in 2019, which has happened in the Hochschule Bremen. This is about us. Who are we? And then representatives. So at this moment, we have the 5 cities representatives: Bremen, Hamburg, Kiel, Munich, and Nagpur in India. So, and then there will be the award, which is coming soon, events, blogs, and contact us. So these are at this moment, our website.
Great features which you can announce later also.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Over to Pallavi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Rajesh ji, for all the hard work, as Raigar ji said, you have put in bringing this together. Now I would like, we have a very interesting proposition for you. I just talked about soft power of India. So we are going to have a performance by Revati Ensemble today. They are going to show a fusion performance for us. So can we have the performance, please?
Yes, let me start that.
Thank you, Sanjay ji.
Dalangutom tagadi gidatom tagidatom taganam gidasakadi gidatom taganam gidasakom gidasakana katari gidasakadi dindi nam tari gidasakatam tatam tam tari gidasindari gidatom tari gidanam tari gidasak gidatom gidatom tom gidanaga agajana patmakam jaja Jonu diddi kudu dagada dikudu dagadam taganam kidadaga tattiddi kidadiddi kidadatom tagatatom namah shivaya sambaya saganaya satunave namah shivaya sambaya தக்க தீமி தக்க திக்கிட்ட
உத்தத்திட்ட கிண்ண தோதுங்கத்தோ தோடகதாம் தோடகதாம் தத்தோம் தகதோம் கிடதகதோம் தாகதீயதா தொகுதகததிங்கிடதோம் குருர் பிரம்மா குருர் விஷ்ணு குருர் தேவோ மகேஸ்வரः குரு சாட்சாத் பரபிரம்ம தஸ்மை ஸ்ரீ குரவே நமः ரிம பனி சமகரி சிப்ப மகரி சரி மபனி சரி மகரி சா நிதி சனி சா பனி சம ப நி சரி நி ச பனி ப சனி பனி ப ப மகரி ச குரு பிரம்மா குரு விஷ்ணு குரு தேவோ மகேஸ்வரः
takadimi takajonu takadimi takajonu takadimi takajonu takadimi takajonu takkirdagarigdom 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 takadimi takajonu takadimi takajonu takkirdagarigdom 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 targidom 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 targidong targidong targidom 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 takkadiso targidom 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 takkadiso targidom 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 tam
ta drum drum ta drum ta dhalam kutak ko da da gida drum ta ka drum drum ta takita ta da ta drum gida drum ta ta drum ta drum ta takita ta da gida tarita ta dhanata ta runata ta dinita ta da drum ta nam ta rum ta gadim takita gida dim ta tarigida ta drum dim da ta drum nam da ta drum tam takita dhana ta tarigida dim ta tarigida ta drum dim takita drum drum takita drum ta drum takita ta drum tarigida ta drum tarita ta dhana tarita ta tarigida ta dhanata ta drum tarita dhana ta tarigida ta drum dim da ta drum nam takita drum ta dim tum nam ta tarigida ta dhanata ta tarigida dhanata ta dhanata ta dim ta tarita ta dhanata ta tarita dhanata dhanata tarigida ta dim tarigida ta dim tarigida ta dim tarigida ta dim tarigida ta drum tarigida ta tarigida
जनन जनन तनन तनन तोम 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 जनन जनन तनन तनन जनन जनन तनन तनन तोम तोम जनन जनन तनन तनन तोम तोम जनन जनन तनन तनन गीत धुनि को तक धीम नात्र कीट तो नाच रहे गोरी ताई तई तई तुम फिर तुम गीत धुनि को तक धीम नात्र कीट तो नाच रहे गोरी ताई तई तई तुम फिर तुम गीत धुनि को तक धीम नात्र कीट तो नाच रहे गोरी ताई तई तई तुम फिर तुम गीत धुनि को तक धीम तै ततै तान गावे तक तल तै ततै तान गावे तक तल तै ततै तै ततक तना धीम तकिड तक धीम धीम तकिड तक धीम धीम तकिड तक धीम हत तू हत गीत धुनि को तक पदुमनाभ तुम्हारी लीला पदुमनाभ तुम्हारी लीला क्या कहूँ मैं सावरो ताप संकट शरणायो सो हमारो तुम हरो तजीम तजीम तिरना उदनित तानि तानि तजीम तजीम तिरना तजीम तिरना उदनित तानि तानि तजीम तजीम तिरना तानि तोम तद गद नरि तान नर तान धीम अलरि गलरि तद गदा चार तद गमां तानि तद गदां कार दीं 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 तक तन अलरि तोम 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 तक तन तनि अलरि गीत धुनि को तक धीम नाद्र के तोम नाच रहे गोरी तानि तै तै तदुम तिरगतुम गीत धुनि को तक धीम नाद्र के तोम नाच रहे गोरी तानि तै तै तदुम तिरगतुम गारि तै तै तदुम तिरगतुम गारि तै तै तदुम तिरगतुम गीत धुनि को तक धीम निको तक धीम निको तक धीम।
Wow, what a splendid performance, Revati Ensemble. A fitting finale for today's German-Indian Business Summit. Thank you so much, Revati Ensemble. Thank you, Sanjay ji, for bringing this to us. Before we say bye to each other, I would like to invite Mr. Gulshan Dhingra, our Vice Consul at the Consulate General of India, Hamburg, to give a vote of thanks to the speakers.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Palvi. I hope I'm audible.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, namaste, good afternoon, and guten tag. Honorable Consul General, sir, our most valued speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed my pleasure to present the vote of thanks on the second edition of German-India Business Summit 2020, which is just about to conclude. So on behalf of Consulate General of India, I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all the speakers, and I feel it would be very unfair if I don't mention their names. So the honor goes to, first is Mr. Madan Lal Raigar, our respected Consul General, sir, followed by Mr. Christian Gutschmidt from Ministry of Economic Affairs, Labor and Europe in Bremen, Dr. Shazia Wolbers, Hochschule Bremen, Ms. Lilion from Hamburg Invest, Mr. Rakesh Violi from India Business Forum Hamburg, and Ms. Palvi Mishra, who is a country head FICCI. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Mr. Bernard Steinrucke, Director General, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, Mumbai, for the very impressive and precise keynote address. Further, we are also grateful to Mr. Vassal Kuller, Senior Investment Specialist, Invest India, for his lively presentation on investment opportunities and economic reforms in India. I must say that his presentation on transforming India was quite catchy and convincing too. Let me also express our sincere thanks to our wonderful panelists of today's panel discussion. And in this regard, the honor goes to Mr. Klaus Mayer, Dr. Klaus Schmidt, Mr. Mukul Dhyani, Mr. Shivesh Kumar, Professor Amit Shah, Mr. Rohit Menon, and Mr. Arvind Sinha. I also wish to express our gratitude to Ms. Juliana Fromter, Program Director for German Accelerators Berlin, for her impressive keynote address. Our special thanks to Dr. Mohammad Faizan, Managing Director, Confnet Solutions, and Ms. Jana Koehler, Co-Founder and CEO Mitra, for the presentations and experiences they have shared with the participants. Let me say that Cure Restore product, as launched by Dr. Faizan, does make a sense today nowadays, since most of the visit to restaurants have become quite restricted, and touching a menu card matters a lot these days. And next in the series, our special thanks to Revati Dance Group, which sounded quite refreshing after a series of serious discussions. So now I feel that it should have been rescheduled in the middle of today's event to offer some kind of respite. And a very special thanks to a wonderful moderator, Ms. Pallavi Mishra, who moderated the event flawlessly. And next in the series, I would say our special thanks to Mr. Sanjay Tambe for the equally wonderful moderation of the panel discussion while keeping the time constraints in mind. So our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Rajesh Mishra and his team for the technical support, and not to forget Ms. Shazia Wolbers, Mr. Sanjay Tambe, and Ms. Palvi, who have extended all possible help on finalizing today's speakers and panelists, as well in close coordination with the consulate all the time. Well, as you all know, an event like this cannot happen overnight. It requires meticulous planning, and we have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues like Mr. Parminder Singh, who really helped to make this happen in the best possible manner. So thanks to Mr. Parminder. And on the similar footing, let me extend our heartfelt thanks to representatives of JINCO, FICCI, Indo-German Network, Bremen Hochschule, India Business Forum, BBMW, and last but not the least, OAV, German Asia Pacific Business Association. Because without all their help, this summit would not have seen the light of the day. And ladies and gentlemen, before I wind up, let me reiterate that we are most grateful to all the speakers, panelists, co-organizers, sponsors, and all the participants on this platform today. We thank you for being with us, and it has been a greatest pleasure of all the time. So stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. Thank you so much. And over to Ms. Palvi, who would like to, just wind up the event. So over to Ms. Palvi.
Sure, Dhingraji. Thank you so much for your vote of thanks and kind words. It has been an amazing experience. On behalf of FICCI, I would like to thank Consulate General of India, Hamburg, GINCO, and Hochschule Bremen for considering FICCI as a partner for this event. So thank you so much for this opportunity. We are looking forward to organize this again next year. I request all the participants to see the recording, and if they want to see the presentations again, they can see the recording of this event on the YouTube page of the Consulate General of India in Hamburg. The link is given once again. Please visit GIBS website and let us know if you want us to add anything else there. We are open to feedback. Thank you once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Pallavi, can I take just 1 minute?
Please, I'm so sorry, please.
No problem. This event is without the contribution from Dhingra sir, Parminder ji, you and Sanjay ji and Sajia ji is not possible. So Parminder ji was always in the network, clear, transparent, clear communication and transparency. So one big claps for the Parminder ji because without him we are incomplete. So thank you, Parminder ji, and thank you, Dhingra sir, because you always always with us. Thank you to you, and naturally to you, Pallavi ji, because all the technical part you handle excellently. Thank you. And Sanjay ji.
Thank you.
Sanjay ji is also first time we are working in this GIBS with Sanjay ji, and it's beyond our expectation. Sanjay ji did wonderful communications and relation. Whatever you see, the technical things also goes to Sanjay ji. Thank you, Sanjay ji.
Thank you. Thank
and
you.
Naturally, the Sajia ji is with all the innovative ideas and things. So thank you to you all. Thanks. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Namaste. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
So thank you, everybody.